So there's nothing. No, there's no word for it because you know how there's like a, like if you look at like Western facial hair.
I think your laptop battery.
Oh shit! Yeah, we gotta plug that in.
Yeah.
But let me
Time
just.
out.
Time out.
I'll keep everybody entertained in the meantime. Mark is going to do some labor. Right. We push it. So, are you going to delete this, or should I just continue keeping people entertained? You can just keep chatting. Hello, everybody. I've taken over the podcast. My name's Hussain. I am coming on again. You guys probably seen me on the show before. Until Mark gets his cable so the battery doesn't die. Why don't I tell you a joke that I think has some meaning behind it? There was this guy. This is actually one of my favorite jokes to tell. There was this guy that was stranded and lost in the ocean at sea. And he's wanting to survive, of course. So he begins to pray to God and says, God, please help me. I'm praying. Save me. Oh, Mark's back. How you doing, buddy? I'm going to continue telling my joke. So
Thanks for having me on.
Oh, here. Welcome back to the show, bro. Welcome back. And then so the guy prays, and then a boat shows up. So someone shows up with a boat and says, come on over, man. You're saved. And he throws over a little orange little dinghy. And the guy says, no, it's okay. I've actually prayed to God. God is going to save me.
Right.
And the guy's like, okay. And he takes off. 2 more boats come along, and the same interaction happens. And the guy finally, long story short, he gets tired, he drowns, and he dies. He dies, he goes up to heaven, and he goes to God, and he says, God, I prayed, I was faithful, I believed in you, just like how you asked. And you said you would save me. How come you didn't save me? How come you let me die? And he said, and God goes, I sent you 3 boats, you idiot.
I thought he was going to pray to the wrong God.
No, we all know Allah is the right God. So there's no...
Right.
We're going to begin that. But, there's
Wink at the camera when you say that.
Yeah, and we didn't blow up.
You have a pager on you, by the way?
Yo, we got to talk about that.
Okay.
Because that was an interesting thing.
But really, I don't have security or anything, but do you have a pager?
No, but I will.
Could you empty your pockets?
You know what? I don't have my pager, but everyone's going to see this. I actually just realized randomly in my sweater pocket, I have my desert scarf with me.
You have your desert scarf.
Yeah, I call it a desert scarf. I forget exactly what. This one is from Saudi Arabia. My sister was out there, and she got me this.
Wow.
So maybe I should put it on.
Can you wear it today? Can you wear it for the... Yeah. Can you imagine?
Actually, maybe, yeah, we're getting close
I'll
to
crank
Halloween,
the heat in this place. I'll crank the heat in this. So what's I
call it a desert scarf.
A desert scarf.
My sister got this for me while she was out in Saudi Arabia. She completed her we call Umrah.
What's that? Oh, you got to go and visit so you can go to heaven?
That's the idea. Idea. Well, not really. Like, the full idea is you go complete Umrah and you're almost spiritually reborn. It's either Hajj or Umrah. Hajj is the season. Umrah, I don't know all the exact details. Don't quote me. But that's the gist of it. And when you go there, it's a spiritual cleanse.
How'd she get Umrah from there? Sorry.
I don't get that.
Because you said...
Umrah is what it's called. In it. Oh, Hajj?
Umrah? How'd you get home? Sorry, never...
That was bad.
I thought that was fucking funny in my head. Sorry.
That was the white side of your brain thinking it was funny.
Sorry.
Now I'm playing.
Sorry.
No, but she got this while she was out there, and I like wearing these around my neck when it gets cold.
Yeah.
But anywho, I was just gonna touch back on my joke.
Yeah.
Some people might recognize that joke. It's from the movie Pursuit of Happiness.
Yeah.
With Will Smith.
I had never seen it, to be honest.
Oh, really? Dude, you
How
gotta watch
retarded
that.
Is that?
That movie was so good.
I like the song.
Even though it's Will Smith, it's so good.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
So good.
Well, he was a legend back in the day.
Yes.
I am
and
legend.
I mean, as an actor,
I am legend.
That was a good movie
Sorry.
too. As an actor, he's still good. But that joke, kind of like, I feel like I've been that dude that's been in the water before.
Mm-hmm.
That I think a lot of have, where like the gift or whatever you're asking for comes to you, but you don't. You're too focused on looking at it in terms of arriving in the exact way that you think it should arrive, so you kind of like just kick it out. Ignore it. And I've done that before I could like recognize and gain the skill of self-awareness and presence and all that. I've probably done that a bunch of times.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I always think of it as like half the time it's just like I don't know how I'm trying to explain this, but it's always kind of like it's there and it's kind of being offered to me, sometimes by a person or something. Like it's just kind of like God's just like, here it is, and
Right.
I'm like, no, but I need to earn it.
Yes.
Like it's like kind of this
Yes.
like there's like this
Yes.
part of my ego that it's like, no, but I don't want it from you. Like I have to earn it. Like I
Right.
have to like it's this like weird like.
Yeah, it's like is the word worthiness, deservingness type of thing?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think I've probably struggled with that for a long time, and as a result, I'm probably pushed away or kicked out like a lot of good things in my life. But when you're young and there's a lot of circumstances that kind of allows you to not see. But I think it's one thing to go through it once. It's another thing to kind of overcome it and stop going through it over and over again. So
Yeah.
sometimes, you can have that moment while you're alive where God speaks to you and tells you, I've sent you X, Y, and Z, you idiot.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's a good moment
Yeah.
to kind of awake to that.
Yeah, yeah. I always I've felt like that, dude, even just in my relationship. Like there's been so many times where I'm just like butting heads with Teddy and I'm just like, oh, like maybe this person was sent here to kind of teach you, a lesson of like, oh, maybe you
100%.
can be right, believe it or not.
Right.
But like there's also a chance that you could be wrong.
Right. Right.
And that's like a tough
100%.
it's a tough pill to swallow.
That's
Like
the balance,
it's
right?
like, wait, I actually could be wrong on this one.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
it's
the,
like
that's
but
the
it doesn't
balance.
feel like it. You're like, but I don't like the feeling of wrong.
No kidding, man. Because it bruises the ego.
Yeah.
It bruises the ego a little bit. But I think the gauge or the meter that I try to use now to see which way to go is I kind of like the philosophy of my brain that I run all the time is just the decisions and what you see. I try to guide it by principle and try to protect my principles. Because if I can protect principles, then I'll be protected by principle.
What do you mean by that?
Meaning, I think if you live your life, I mean, let's bring it back to the contents of the most common. Let's go to like 10 commandments. We can say that the 10 commandments are 10 principles you should follow.
Yeah.
Right, without fail. So let's go by, I think if you choose to follow the do not tell a lie and you follow that principle, you're protecting that principle in your life. And as a result, you'll be protected by that principle because you'll be able to see the truth in the world because you're honest with yourself.
Right.
You know what I mean? And other things. If you take on the principle of like, not cheating or not committing adultery when you're raising a family, that's a principle to follow. That principle will protect you and your family to stay together and at least give you not destroy the family.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you don't break those principles. So that's kind of the gist of it. I can put it in that way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like it's kind of like the idea of like discipline is freedom.
Exactly. Yeah. If you can discipline yourself, which is so it's so funny because life is so funny in that way where sometimes the answer looks so contradictory to what you're looking for. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people try to run from discipline because it feels so controlling. And you feel like you're going to be under control, like whatever it is that you're trying to be disciplined with.
You feel like it's like slavery.
Yeah, it's
You're
controlling.
like, yo, I can't be just like a slave to a
the-
fucking schedule.
Right, right. But then once you become that, slave to the schedule, I guess, you realize like how much freedom you have from it. Because it's from everything else that you're free from, all that decision making and whatnot that can take a toll on you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yo, I took that like a champ. I hit my funny bone, didn't even react.
That was actually impressive. I was like,
Right.
yo, the plant reacted more than you.
Well, I had yesterday I did my
Did you do a cold plunge recently?
Almost.
Okay.
Last night I was you saw that last night it was raining like crazy.
Yeah.
And it's not summer rain, it's a little cold now. And
It's cold as shit, dude.
Yeah, bro. Last night
I'm such a baby.
we're soft out here,
Yeah.
bro. But last night I didn't get to my workouts till the end of the I'm almost done another round of 75 hard.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that,
I'm
man.
on day 60.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, day 60. Around day 60 is where you just dial in. I'm like, I'm gonna get this done. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
So last night I did working away at it, and then I didn't. It was like 9 o'clock, and I had yet to do either of my workouts.
Fuck.
So I got my first one in, and then you got to wait that gap, and I was like out there till like. Then I got my outdoor one, and it was just coming in last night. It was pouring, and actually I got another story to tell you about on that one. But it was cold last night.
Oh yeah.
And I forgot I didn't carry a big jacket I just had my little one in the car, and I was not close to home, and I had to get it in, so I just put on the jacket and I walked.
Right.
And my hands were just like. So I think that's probably helped. I kind of did one long cold plunge for 45 minutes.
Fuck.
It was good though. It was fun.
Yeah, yeah. Dude, that is that's those are the times where I'm like, it's the shittiest fucking thing to do.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I did not want to get out of that car last night. Man, ugh, I was so tired. I was just gassed.
But the hot shower after. That's what it always is for me. The hot shower after.
Now you're speaking my language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, yeah.
Come back with a cup of tea or something like that, and
Yeah. There's been so many times I can think of where I've like biked in weather like this, or like when it's like just snowing and
Right.
like running outside in the snow.
right.
And like my fingers, I'm like, I literally, like, it hurts so fucking bad.
Yes.
How
Yeah.
cold my fingers get.
It was so used because I had my pockets on my jacket, but like everything was drenched. It made no sense to put my hands in my pocket because it was still cold as shit in there.
Yeah.
My phone was getting drenched. Now I'm just like, this is why you do it. This is why you kind of do the program, because it was so easy not to do it.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
made
yeah.
a lot of sense not to do it. Even when so did I tell you? Did you see my story when I freaking came face to face with a bear?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah, that was intense, man. I've never ever been so scared in my life.
Yeah.
That-
I'm so scared of bears, dude.
That was literally like, if I had to put like top 3 worst nightmare situations, that must have been in the top 3. Aside from like seeing one of these, horror movie ghosts or something.
Right, right.
Number 2.
Dude,
I'm gonna stop doing that.
Yeah, don't do that. Have you thought of not doing that?
No, you don't have to move that. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna adjust the chair a little bit so I can be able to look at you. We'll be right back after these messages.
Commercial break from these sponsors.
Sponsored by the Desert Scarf from Saudi Arabia. But yes, yeah. So I was out there, bro, and it was dark.
Shove that thing in your mouth. Sorry. Sorry.
Gay.
Sorry.
Gay.
Sorry. On that note,
Yeah, the bear.
tell me about your night.
Which
Sorry, I was just trying to say gay because you said gay. So
you did that very well. I must
Yeah.
say. You have a pretty good gay impression. I think mine is pristine too.
yeah,
I'm not gonna do it on here.
right.
It's too gay.
Your people would stone you.
Tomorrow or probably today. I don't know if it's stoning. I think it's like they throw you off of a 3rd-story building.
Is that it?
Yeah, sometimes it just throw you high enough to really hurt and make you think about your life, but not
not
enough
die.
to kill you. Yeah.
Right.
So break a bone will repair you afterwards, and think about coming back. So we'll try to knock the gay out of you.
Is that what they do?
That's what I've heard. It's
It's
not all
the theory.
countries,
It's the
obviously.
theory. It's the running theory.
It's the running theory because I did see a video once.
And y'all thought it was bad to pray the gay away.
Yeah. Try jumping off a building to knock it out of you,
Anyways, sorry.
But anywho, yeah, this bear was straight, I imagine. So I was walking. It was it was like near Coquitlam.
Right.
It was in Coquitlam.
You were
Port
doing the
Coquitlam-
crunch.
No, it wasn't in that area. It was like there's this area in Coquitlam where there's like a nice. I like doing walks out there. It's a nice a little jog. It's a giant. It's got like 3-4 different fields. A couple soccer fields, a couple baseball fields. So it's a giant space. And at night, it gets a little quiet. It's right by like a little stream river area. That's Shaughnessy area. Up in Coquitlam. And I was walking out there, and I've done it before. And I'm bear aware. This is like my worst nightmare, bro. In the summertime, I don't do this because I know there's bears out there.
Right.
Wherever there's signs, I'll go do my walks in downtown.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right in the middle of everybody. I'm not an animal person. I'm not really too good with them. So I've just been coming around to dogs. Living in Canada long enough now where it's
Right.
like, okay, I think it's time where
Part Haitian, right?
no, just coming around.
Warming up the dogs or warming up two dogs?
Warming up 2 dogs.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
definitely no. We don't. I don't
Sorry.
eat dogs.
But you would.
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
Not Haitian. I'm Muslim.
'Kay.
That's the worst thing you can do. That
Really?
is- eating a dog is haram, brother. It's so haram. We don't even like touching dogs.
Right.
Yeah, and if you do, you have to go wash your hands afterwards.
Right, right,
Right.
right. So you got to wear gloves when you put the gays off the roof, or
Well, if we don't wear gloves for dogs, Maybe
You
no,
just
wouldn't.
said the gloves for dogs.
No, we don't. I mean, you can touch them, but you wash your hands after. I don't see anybody putting on gloves before they pet a dog, to be honest. But maybe that's a good idea. Maybe I should sell glove dogs or dog gloves for Muslims. It's a good business idea because we're in a culture where people have dogs, to pet them, and that way you don't break your wudu when you before you go
Your
pray.
what?
So I think it's wudu is like it's the washing and cleansing process before you pray.
I got you.
So when you go do that, after you do that, there are certain things you can do that breaks that. So you have to do it again.
Right.
And touching a dog would qualify.
That would be it.
Yeah.
Is it just like why a dog?
Because
Four-legged? Is it because they're four-legged?
Four-legged, and just in general, like they're dirty, from what I understand. Like
Okay.
dogs are, it's an animal. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it stands up and pees, and all that jazz. So I don't think I think it goes like you don't eat animals that are that sit with their hands like this. Don't quote me. I heard someone told me this, but I can't remember. There are a lot of rules to Islam, just so you know. So I can't remember them all off the top of my head.
Huh. Really?
You know.
I thought it were just okay.
No,
A lot of rules.
there's a lot of maybe
No,
they're
just
not
joking.
maybe not a lot of rules, but a lot of guidelines.
Yeah,
To kind of follow. But no, you can call them rules. You can call them rules. Some countries there are rules.
Right.
Like straight up rules.
Like it's a law.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways,
No mustache is allowed, eh?
they would prefer that. You prefer,
No soup strainers.
What is that?
Just a mustache, a soup strainer.
How does that?
If you drink.
Oh, I got you. No, man, my mustache, I can grow a mustache, but I don't know. It just grows really thick. I don't like it.
It's good.
It's just an itch.
You don't like it?
No. I like my beard. I can't do without a beard. But yours is like, you look great. Your mustache, everything comes in together. It fills in like.
Dude, I'm sure yours does too.
Yeah, it's just maybe I don't like the phase. And Mike, man, I don't know, bro, but like these last 20, I was good up until 2022 or 2021. But I think like spring of 2021 was the beginning, and then in that 1 year or year and a half, I grew enough grays for like 80 seniors.
Oh, dude, yeah. I'm getting them in the side of my head for sure.
Yeah.
I used
mind
to cut
you,
it, and I was like, fuck it.
Right.
I'm letting it go.
No, I mean, mind you, like, I've had grays kind of come in gradually since high school.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just, like, within this short period of time, they started coming in my beard, and, like, now my 50, almost, I'm like, yo, that's just way too many. And I began to realize, like, yeah, like, the stress response to that is real. Because I know it's not supposed to have this many grays, but I did go through an extremely stressful period in life.
Yeah.
And my outlet at the time was working out, hitting the gym, doing something physical. But my shoulder and everything was just jammed, so I couldn't. And it was just so took it out in grays.
Mm. So you kind of avoided the question earlier. What do
I don't
is
avoid
there-
questions.
You
I do
did.
not avoid questions.
You dodged
I
it
don't
because
dodge
you knew
questions.
that you couldn't answer it. But let's be honest. So let's try
Fire
again.
away.
Okay,
Fire
I'll
away.
throw
Shoot
it.
me any question.
You swing the bat.
Okay.
What
Home
do-
run coming, folks.
Yeah, what do Muslim guys call that? The no mustache beard? Because like in Western,
I answered.
we have like a goatee. We
Mhm.
have like a soul patch.
Mm-hmm.
The Asians have the Fu Manchu.
Right.
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 What do you call the? Is it just like it's called a halal beard when you just have no mustache? It's
Oh,
just
you mean this?
yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know if there's a particular name.
And why
for
is it? You can have a mustache. Should we talk about this before?
Did we? I don't know. Are you saying like you're seeing a lot of Muslim guys just have a beard with no mustache?
I'm
Or are
not
you
the
just saying
first
me?
one to connect the dots, dude. Look at the UFC.
You're right. Yeah.
Come on.
You're right. I don't know. I don't think it's like a conscious Muslim thing. It has
I
nothing to do
think,
with the religion. It just
dude,
seems- Plus, those guys are
Don't
from
dodge
Dagestan.
that question.
I'm not dodging. I'm
Come
trying
on.
to answer it. So
It's-
what is? Are you saying?
you think it's a coincidence that every fucking Muslim guy has no mustache but a nice beard?
Yo, Bin Laden had a full one. Bin Laden's was full. There's a lot of guys. that
Yeah,
was
he's in the
full.
CIA. Okay, it's different.
True. Not anymore. But no, if you go to Afghanistan, a lot of the guys there have full beards, full.
So it's a
mustache.
regional Muslim thing. So-
Maybe. But you are right. You do make a good point. I actually didn't notice this. I really did not see
You
it.
really didn't notice it.
I thought it was just me. Like every now and then.
Dude, that's like going to every single one of my grandparents to be like, oh, no spice on the potatoes and the meat? No pep, no, not even a bit of seasoning?
Right, right.
And it's like, you never connected the dots?
It's with white people. Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. But no, I didn't. I didn't connect the dots because I think I'm around enough Muslims that also have mustaches.
No, you aren't. Dude, think about it.
Now that you say that. Now that you say that, like, let me see if I know how many my buddies that are Muslim that have a mustache. Even like I went all
I can't believe this is happening.
all
right
of
now.
January. I was out in I was back home. I was in the belly of the beast.
They fucking hate Movember there, dude.
Yeah, because we all know it's a sham. But no, you're right. Maybe
No
I should do
mustaches,
I should do some research on this.
Always, dude.
Yeah, to see what if there is a name. I don't think
And
there is.
and the cool hat thing?
Which one oh, are you talking about the Dagestani guys?
I don't. No, not the furry one.
Oh,
That one's
okay.
cool too.
Right.
I'm talking about more like the black Muslim guy hat. The it's kind of like a knit. It's kind of like like a knit or like think like a yarmulke but bigger. Like
I
it just
know,
like
is it
kind
white?
of.
Is it white?
No,
kinda sits on-
dude. No,
No?
hold on.
Okay. All right, he's gonna do a research and pull up the picture here for me. In the meantime, let's just keep you guys. Do you guys want another joke? I don't got one at the moment. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yes, you might want to put this one on. Yeah, that is white.
Okay, but some of them.
That's what I meant.
Some of them are like red and.
Yeah, they changed color. That one's black.
Yeah, see, there's like some red ones.
Right.
Oh, there's a white guy rocking it.
Bro, you would look like a pristine Muslim.
No,
You need to.
I got a bad head shape to wear one of these.
But the beard's there. We can get a big enough hat for you to compensate the head size and the weird shape. What's your question?
Dude, it's a suggestion.
So you're saying people have looked this up before?
Okay, look at this.
Why
And
don't
this is
Muslims have
not me.
mustaches?
This
He's
is
right.
the
It's the
Google.
second or third top.
If you
most
search, why don't
Muslims,
Muslims have?
it's the second most.
It comes before mortgages.
I think it's just us Muslims that have been ignorant to this. I don't even know.
It comes before mortgages, dude. It doesn't even say mortgages here.
Okay, go ahead. Let's click on it. Let's see
Why
what-
don't Muslims have? Nobody's concerned about.
Let's see what Google says. Okay, it is mentioned. Oh, maybe it is. It's mentioned in the Hadith that Muhammad, peace be upon him, should trim their mustache. That men should trim their mustaches,
But preserve the beard.
but preserve the beards. Okay, I didn't know, bro. I was already organically following that. Sunnah.
See, I didn't even read the Hadith. I just connected. I just watched the UFC.
Yeah, well, you have this ability that's called observe.
Yeah.
You know, and just connect them together. Good to know.
Yeah, it is good to know actually, because I've always
didn't-
wondered that if they were just how come? Because it does annoy me sometimes. There's times where if I have normally if you eat anything that's very like frothy or anything like if you drink a drink
Right.
that is kind of like maybe bubbly or frothy,
Right.
it'll get in there
Right.
and you definitely smell it for the rest of the day. And if you're a smoker too, it sticks in your.
In your mustache, you're saying?
I don't know.
I don't know. I'll tell you. For me, honestly, I don't like having the mustache because I mean, I have like these big ass lips. You know what I mean? And I feel like if your lips are too big, the mustache on top, it just looks a little strange.
It's a lot, eh?
Yeah, it looks a little strange. And I've tried it. I do have the mustache here and there. I keep it, and I just kind of keep a nice groomed version of it. But usually, I like to have it shaved. I don't like. It just looks really weird with like these big fucking monkey lips sometimes.
Yeah. I don't think you can say that, but maybe you can. But
All right, they're gonna be people offended. Sorry, not monkey lips. Big human lips.
yeah, I just
Fuck
it's
that monkey lips.
it's actually
Yeah.
funny that you say that because I think that's part of the reason I like having a mustache is because I have such little lips
You have white guy lips for
that
sure.
I gotta hide them. I gotta it could be because the thing is, if I don't have a beard, people
Right.
are like, "Wow, that guy's lips are so small." That's usually what people say to me
Right,
the
right.
first time we meet.
Right. But you actually have lips. I do have. I've seen some white people where it just looks like they've just kind of like
Pencil. It's just
cut
a pencil
open.
line.
Yeah, like they just took a razor just to open a mouth.
Yeah.
And there. So you know,
And you're like,
doing all right.
yeah, yeah. No, I do have them. They're just little, and I just But yeah, I feel like if I grow my beard and mustache, like it's
Right.
kind of like, oh, maybe he does
Right.
have better lips, but then it's like a secret.
Yes, the beard. I heard somebody say the beard and mustache, like
It's
facial,
the makeup of
it's
men.
the makeup of men, and I
Yeah.
would say, I mean, for me, that definitely qualifies.
Yeah,
You
100%.
don't want to see what's under here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's I definitely every time I grow my beard out, I'm always like, I'm starting to look homeless a little bit, like because I
Right.
just let it grow. Like
Right,
you,
right.
you have a nice. You go to a barber, don't you?
I go to a barber, but just for my haircuts. I don't let a barber touch my beard.
You do your own beard.
Yeah, I grew my
Okay.
own.
You're just better at it than me. But it's kind of a Middle Eastern guy thing, I think, is they're just kind of better at things like that.
Yes,
Self
definitely.
grooming.
Right. Little self-respect.
Yeah.
Kind of stuff.
Yeah. Sort of.
We're
A little
going
bit
with
too
it.
much cologne, a little bit too much.
The
Hey guys.
the Persian shower.
Yeah.
They call it Persian.
But hey, you know what? I'd rather,
No, perfume is a big thing over there. I could tell you when I was out there, like,
kind of necessity,
bro.
dude.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, not in the Middle East. Yes, it's not necessarily a necessity. They just really like it
Right.
because people don't stink over there. I wouldn't say they stink.
Okay.
Yeah, people. I
Because
can,
you're used to it.
I can tell you what.
You know, every time you're on is the only opportunity I have to be racist without an argument.
It's great, isn't
Yeah.
it? Isn't it? Because I can kind of shoot back at white people, and I'm sure there's some people like all kinds.
And you should.
of right,
Or
right.
fly planes at us.
That was like, I mean, if you talk about the all-star moves
Yeah,
of White Attack, that must have been it.
Yeah.
But what was I saying? We were talking about mustaches.
Yeah.
I forgot my train of thought, but I was going to say something with that. Continue then.
Sorry.
No, it's all good.
No, but
What were you saying just before that? Just slips my mind. It just slipped my mind.
I literally don't remember. But did you voted today?
I'm gonna go right after this.
You haven't done it yet?
I didn't get a chance.
Luckily, the polls are open till 8, I think, today.
Yeah, I looked that up first, but I'm gonna go after this because, well, I told you I was running on like Muslim time today, and
Mhm.
part of it is I actually ended up going to the barber. Barber's Muslim. Took a little bit longer than usual. Appointments don't really seem to be a thing.
You'd think that they'd have better punctuality than Muslims, eh?
White people?
No, I just would on the outside looking in because I always see them looking at like timers and shit. But
That's for our salah. We make sure our prayers on time. We respect God, but not white people.
that's actually true. Hey, that's actually a really nice connection that you've just made too for me. Actually,
Yeah, it is true. I think there's definitely a true, but you should respect God over all people.
yeah,
You know?
but also white people or no? Do you think it's worth respecting white people?
I think it is. I think it is because there's a lot of benefits
Right,
to respecting white people.
right,
Which is you get mutual respect back
right,
versus
and maybe a better credit score depending on where you live.
better.
I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm just saying that it's
Listen,
probably
the
true.
credit score. Muslims have decent credit scores. If
They
that
don't get mortgages, dude. They
They
literally
do.
don't
they
get
do.
mortgages.
Muslims do. They buy houses. You know,
What's
they-
that? Hey, what was that thing about? Was it the NDP was trying to make a thing about halal mortgages?
Yeah, they're trying to put this thing forward where I don't know exactly how the details of it all, how they would make it work with the banks and the numbers and interest and stuff. Like being here, understanding finances to some degree, I don't know how they're going to kind of peer that in. What they're going to do, from my estimation, is this: they're going to introduce. Obviously, you're still going to need a loan to buy the house,
Yeah.
and they're just going to, instead of calling it interest, they're just going to put the fees in a different, on the back end or on the front end up front, and give it another name. That's what I think they're going to do.
So
when they
it's
call it
not.
halal
So it's not
mortgage.
interest.
Right. By name, you know what I mean? But at the end of
Right.
the day, the process is the same. The bank's lending you money
And you're paying for money.
for the charge, right? So that's still gonna. No bank is gonna be like, okay, I'll lend you the money and not charge you any interest, because if they were to do that, this entire country would be like,
Yeah.
what are you talking about?
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Okay, I believe in Allah too.
There'd
You
be a
know?
lot of Chinese Muslims.
Yo, they buy cash, man. They
Yeah,
don't walk
that's
up.
what I'm saying.
Bro,
They
I was
want
at
that
the-
halal mortgage,
Yeah,
dude.
they buy and they just come in cash. I remember once being at the Grand Villa.
Hmm.
We were at the craps table. This Asian guy just showed up and he just dropped a stack.
Oh yeah.
Like it stopped the game for like 15 minutes because they had to count all the money,
Really?
and they didn't even know if they had that many chips or whatever for him.
Oh.
And he just dropped it. The staff show up, 6, 7 people start working at the table, and this guy looks at it. He's like, "Oh, sorry," you know.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Count it.
Yeah,
You just count it, bitch.
pretty much. Man.
He's like, I don't count. He's- Sorry, bro.
I can't. I mean, but they buy cash, bro. They buy
Right.
straight up cash. But it was the NDP, and I think, listen, I would tell the Muslim community in that regard, everybody is better off voting conservative right now. If you do not vote conservative, you've either been duped or you've been ignorant and naive in terms of what's been going on in terms of this election. If you just vote color because that's what you've done, you're used to voting NDP, blah blah blah. This province has been brought to its knees with a combination, a lot of help from the federal government. Obviously, the country's struggling, but it'll be nice to have some sort of pushback like Alberta has with a lot of the bullshit policies that they're trying to shove down people's faces. So, if this is obviously not going to come out during the election because today is the final day,
Yeah.
but
This will come out Monday.
okay, hopefully everyone that's Muslim, you voted conservative. It makes no sense to vote NDP.
Hopefully everyone, not
Yeah.
just Muslims.
Yeah, I guess I'm speaking of my community, but everybody should be voting.
Wait, you're not white?
We're gonna. Can we touch on that for a sec?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
somebody called me whitewashed. Not somebody, like close friends of mine. We were at the studio. And they
I
were,
thought like on a comment or something on your podcast or something.
no. Well,
Who's this white guy?
So they're like, "Yo, you're whitewashed,"
Right.
and I
Is that offensive to you?
no, I wouldn't say so. I don't care.
I would.
I could care less
But
because I'm not. I don't think. I mean, well, first of all, I asked myself, what does that even mean? Right?
wow, that's really cool, hey? You
Right.
just like hear this comment, you're like, is that offensive to me? Oh no, I'm not that thing. So I guess it doesn't really matter to me.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't. Even if I am, it's still. If I am, I wouldn't bother me. 'Cause
Right.
I'm like comfortable being me.
Yeah.
If somebody's gonna label it as whitewash, sure, like whatever that means to you.
Right.
But I wondered what that even meant. But you were saying like, were you being sarcastic when you
Well,
said that, or
no, I was kind of joking of like, yeah, like, because, you know, it's obviously fucking lame being white. For like a lot of people, like they think that. Like, I'll say it this way.
yes,
I think it's like, I think a lot of people have been told that it's not a good thing. And it's definitely like if you were to take like a row of people, or like a row of guys, and you're
Right.
like, hey, there's a black guy and a white guy and a Muslim guy, and like one of them's got to teach you to be cool.
mm-hmm.
Most people wouldn't pick the white guy.
Zero chance.
Right.
Zero chance.
So-
Depending on who the white guy was, I guess. I mean, if it's some famous celebrity or something. But no. But if it's just random and you're going by color,
Yeah.
Yeah,
You'd
you're
be like,
not
if I want to learn to be cool,
yeah,
either a black guy, a Muslim guy, or a black Muslim guy,
that's
not a white guy.
nation. You grab a Nation of Islam, dude. That's it.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
You're a winner.
You're
gonna
in.
Be, you'll be
he'll,
cool as
he'll
fuck.
teach you. You'll probably make some cool hats. You'll probably make some. You probably make music.
No, you
No?
wouldn't. No, because the Nation of Islam, I think they're pretty strict. They're pretty like in tune with the guidelines of Islam. Although it's
No
a little bit.
music for Islam.
It's music is considered haram. It's not. You shouldn't be engaging. I know. A lot of people do that.
Sorry.
It is considered haram.
That's
to
so
some.
mean.
It is. Is it? You know, it is considered haram to some, to different schools of thought. But you have to understand, Islam is a giant religion.
Yeah.
It's a
There's
giant-
Christians that are like that too, where they
Right.
think like dancing is a sin because it's
Right.
basically like a predecessor to sex.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess like back in the day when we go to Obar, that would be.
Well, think about like it just in any generation. It's like, where do you go when you want to try and get laid? Where people go to dance.
Is that it?
Haven't you noticed that? Another connection that I'm helping you with. But
No.
yeah, if you go to
I've gone to
clubs-
places. I guess a club, yes, because dancing happens there. But I've
That's what
been
I'm
to other
saying.
places where there's dances. Like if you go to sign
just
up
like-
for square dancing, I'm not going
It's
there.
like
to
a
get laid.
pre-fornication. I'm not saying I agree with. I'm just saying that there is people that view it that way.
So you're saying like if you go sign up for a square dancing class,
You won't see Mennonites there.
what are Mennonites?
It's like a German Christian.
Right. But it's because
Don't quote me on
the
any of that. I'm
I
just
guess the rule or the thing around dance classes is that it's a place to pick up. Is what you're saying?
yeah, and it's just there's a lot of dancing. I guess that's subjective is that's not the word I'm trying to objectifying kind of like
Yeah,
no
I see.
that's not what I'm trying to say. It's very you can be very like I don't know. It's not. Why do you think strippers dance, dude? I'm
They're
not
trying to
be
pay for school,
I'm
bro.
not
What
trying
are
to.
you talking
No, but
about?
I'm not trying to be like. I'm just trying to be, like, because it's like there's something
Right.
about it that
Yeah, I
is like
think
sexually like
I think when
appealing
yes, I do think that there's some level when
of like rhythmic
yeah,
movement,
when the
belly
female, especially when
dancing,
a female body, like with the female body, like moving around.
and
That's
I
where,
just think like it's just like usually when you're dancing, like it's like a guy and a girl,
yeah, yeah.
so they just want to be like, hey, guys on one side, girls on the other side.
Right, right. Okay,
Once you put a ring on it,
okay. Yeah, no,
I
I can see that. I can see that. Not to say I disagree or agree or anything, but I can see
yeah.
the
Can't
connection.
make it. I can't make an opinion on that.
No, no. But going back to the whitewash thing, right?
Does it? Yeah. Does that offend you?
Does it offend
Does
me
it
when
suck to be called whitewashed?
I'll give you okay? I'll say two things. I'll give you a funny story and then like what it means. Maybe back in the day when I was younger, it probably may have bothered me a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would have offended me. You'd have to like try hard to offend me, but there was a kid when I was in high school. I had a friend. I had a black friend, and he was black, but he also played hockey. And
Right.
he was good at it.
Right.
He's good at it.
You knew Jerome McGinley?
Yo, Jerome McGinley broke some
That's
boundaries.
such an
bro.
old joke because there's so many better. Well, I don't know better, but
Not better. There's a lot of black players now,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
broken the barrier. But Jerome McGinley is an OG, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
You leave him alone. He's
Sorry.
like one of the goats.
Sorry.
500 plus goals. Come on. No, but he was a friend of mine. He was in high school, and
Not Jerome McGinley.
not Jerome McGinley.
Yeah.
This guy was like much darker. He was actually but I remember it's high school, right? Everyone kind of throws names out there. You bully each other and just the nature of the game, and you want to be part of the crews. And I remember someone called he was it was going around and he was called like an Oreo
Right.
because he's playing hockey and you're not but there was other black kids
Black on the outside, but white
right
on
on the inside, and there was other like black kids around calling him Oreo. And I remember when he heard that, like the whitewashed black Oreo thing going on, the next day, at least the way I remember it, like the next day, it was just a shift overnight. Like
Right.
baggy pants, some G Unit shit,
Yeah.
do rag. He picked up basketball,
Right.
and basketball was the he became like one of our better players on the basketball team.
Naturally.
Well,
Sorry.
he was really good at on defense.
Any
stealing.
sport?
No, he was really good at stealing.
Oh,
on
yeah.
defense, so he was I saw that. I said, "Did you get me?" I said earlier today, it's like Tommy has 5 cookies,
Yeah.
and Jamal takes 3. What color is Jamal?
Yeah.
but that back in the day, like if you were not white and you get called that Oreo, or like for a brown person, it's called coconut. Brownie has it. It's not something. It was
Or
not.
yeah, Twinkie. Or
Yeah, it was not something nice.
yellow one.
It was not something nice to hear because you're kind of seen as like abandoning your culture or like where you come from, your roots, in a sense. So maybe in that sense, I would say like, no, I'm not really whitewashed. But someone brought it up the other day when and I think they brought it up because they were a bit younger. They were very in tune with their own culture, like coming from overseas.
You can describe them better than that.
Sure. What would you like to know?
Well, where are they from?
Their blood type?
No.
No, they're
this
from.
is-
So one was Persian and one
Right.
was Arab,
Okay.
and they were just listening to me talk because I'm from the region, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I went back home in January, right? And I was spending time with my family, and you wouldn't hear anybody from my family saying I'm whitewashed or I forgot my culture. If
Yeah.
anything, they were all actually quite surprised, like how fluent and clean my speech was. Like they didn't have to guess or teach me words or anything like that because my culture, in that sense, like my language and where I come from, it's a part of me. It's important to me. You can't ever escape that. You know what I mean? It's like I value it, I cherish it, and it's something that I do. But I live in Canada. This is where I live, and there's a completely different way of living out here versus living back there. And that's the reason why I'm here. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because it's
yeah.
a different way of living out here. And if I pick up, characteristics or accolades or whatever you want to say about Canadian society because I'm living out here, I don't see that as whitewashed. I see that as a skill to almost like adaptability,
Mm.
understanding where you're from and knowing where you are and having some sort of pride where you are. Like, I have this thing about like, they're talking about loyalty and like, what are you more loyal to? And I'm just like, I'm loyal to my communities, like where I'm living. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, this is the country that's given me everything that I have in my life. You know what I mean? Am I loyal to my family and my language and my culture and everything? Absolutely, without a
Mhm.
doubt. But that's part of Canadian culture. Like, you know what I mean? Blending the two
Yeah.
and knowing and having a loyalty for the land where you live, but also a loyalty from where you come from and disregarding it. And they were kind of like, they kind of chuckled at the idea that I said there's Canadian culture in the first place. They're like, there's no culture in Canada.
Yeah,
There's no
yeah.
Canadian culture. Like, what's Canadian culture? Like,
Yeah.
and they would just talk about some really minute, minuscule things like, oh, Canadian culture is, I don't even know, but it was like very jokingly. I forgot exactly what they used to describe it, but it made me wonder. I'm like, what is Canadian culture? Because I know there is a very strong sense of culture here.
Yeah.
And at the moment, the best way I could have described it to them, I said, you know what Canadian culture would be is Canadian culture is almost every time you leave here and you go back home, whatever you can't experience over there, what you get here, which is all the good stuff, that's part of our culture. Yeah. Sorry, we're getting some feedback, folks. Do you think it's picking up on the recording?
No.
Mm.
I might just headphones off, but
I think the mics are off, right? It's not recording anything. Oh, no, it is. Never mind. There we go.
no, we're good. Sorry.
Mm.
What were you just said that anything that you can't experience at home.
Like if you leave the country, not back home, but let's say you go anywhere, right?
Yeah.
And there are certain unique
Kiss that fucking mic. Sorry.
round. Whatever you don't get to experience
Mhm.
overseas, wherever you go, that you appreciate here about this country is, I think that would classify or qualify as part of our culture.
Whatever you don't get to experience. Okay, so
Here.
what would that be for you? What do you think that is?
Um,
Okay, we're back. We had technical difficulties.
we're back. And you went sweater off. I went hat off.
Yeah, I had to go sweater off. I was getting warm. We had some issues with the heating this morning. I had to go down and fix the thermostat, or
Oh,
not
shit.
the. I had to fix the furnace, and
Pretty handy like that, eh?
well, I fix houses for a living, so it's
Sure.
kind of nice. But yeah,
Very nice.
I went down there, and it was just like a little like thing I had to flip. There was a little relay that flipped, but
Right.
so it was no problem. But anyways, I just cranked the heat after because I was so fucking cold this morning.
Right.
Because I woke up this morning freezing and I was pissed.
Right.
And so now it finally got warm in here, and I'm just like, yo, I can take my sweater off.
So did you ever, like, when you grew up, did you guys always just use the heating during the winter?
I grew up in a household where it was like you don't touch the fucking thermostat,
Yeah.
and it stays the same temperature year round. And
Oh, I see.
yeah, that's why, like, for me, like, I just get kind of in the habit of, like, if I'm cold, I just put a sweater on. That was just like what we were told as kids.
Yes, I remember saying, like, we kept the heater off for as little. The goal was to get through the winter was without the least amount of heat throughout the year to
Yeah.
save money on heating,
Yeah.
and everyone would just wear sweaters and all kinds of jackets and stuff. to
Yeah,
make it
yeah.
through, so
Yeah, that's kind of how I am too. But I just kind of like, there's a lot of things I don't spend my money on now. But one of them is like, I just
Heating?
like to, yeah. Yeah, one of them is being
you got a
warm.
fireplace, man.
It doesn't work. I have to, it's a gas one. And the gas line, there's an issue with it.
Does that thing does it have a chimney?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, so
It's-
can't you just like light the wood on fire?
It's not real wood, dude.
It's not.
No, no. Gas fireplaces don't have real wood.
Damn. Okay. Yeah, I've never had a fireplace. Actually, I did at my last place that I lived. It was a real one. I never used it.
Yeah. I've had wood burning. I had an apartment before. Yeah, you've been there. Remember my old apartment?
Yes.
It had a
Yeah,
wood burning fireplace.
you're right.
I
Actually,
used to bring my offcuts from work, like all like the little sticks of 2x4 that were like 11 inches that I
Right,
couldn't
right.
use for anything.
Right.
I would just bring home and I would just burn them. It was like free heat. But I shouldn't actually. Yeah, I don't give a fuck. My landlord definitely doesn't listen to this. But yeah, it was like in my rental agreement not to use it.
Use the oh.
And then the building
Yeah,
manager.
that's a tease.
Yeah, the building manager was like, "Oh, do you use your fireplace?" I'm like, "No, it's my rental agreement." And he's like, "Dude, your landlord doesn't even live in fucking Canada. They're not gonna come and check, dude.
No kidding.
Just clean it out when you move
Yeah,
out."
as,
Like,
as long as it's not the building manager that doesn't ask for it.
no, he was like, "Dude, go for it."
Oh, okay, then you're good. Yeah.
He's like, "How do you heat your place?"
Right. And if your landlord isn't around,
Yeah,
yeah, especially
fuck them,
if they don't even live in fucking Canada.
dude. There has to. The thing is, dude, if people that don't live here are gonna own all the real estate, you gotta find benefits where you can.
No kidding.
Right?
No shit. No, I'm 100% with you on that. For
Yeah.
sure. For sure.
But what were you saying about Canadian culture is like you said anything that you can't experience in another place is part of the culture. You think?
that was kind of like a rudimentary kind of way of trying to explain things at that moment. It kind of made sense to me at that time.
Mhm.
I don't know if it's like a
Like
litmus test.
poutine?
Yeah, that poutine. You're not gonna catch a lot of poutine anywhere else.
What does it mean to you? Like if someone were if someone was like yo, you're so Canadian. What does that mean to you? Like what would you think? Or like if you were like,
Right.
hey, like if someone was like, do you think I'm Canadian? I guess what I'm trying to say is, what does that mean?
What? Yeah. What does
What does
Canadian
that mean
culture
to you?
mean?
Yeah.
I was actually gonna ask you that question because I felt like you'd be just a slightly bit more qualified to answer.
Why? Because I'm born here.
And white.
Yeah.
And white. I'm saying
Right.
properly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Do you think that white people? Do you think that that's? Do you think that that's a Canadian thing? Is white skin?
Growing up, yes.
You did think that.
It's not that I think that. It's just like almost like I was like taught that when I saw a white kid that spoke full English, to me they were more Canadian just because they were born there. They were born here. You know, this is all they've ever known.
Mhm.
Just like how I have, at like 8 or 9 when I came here, I'd only been in the country for like 5 years. So I would see white people, in that type of authority,
Yeah.
like they're Canadian.
You want to know something funny, dude? My grandpa, when he first moved here from Denmark, he was coming to Canada, and it was in like it was after Second World War. He's kind of just like, yo, we're or Europe's fucked,
Right.
right? And he's like,
right.
anyways, he came to Canada, and like you obviously, if you're coming to Canada, you're like expecting like you said, like kind of like English speaking, like normal fucking.
Right.
You'd be like. Anyways, he flies into fucking Quebec on
Oh, right.
Halloween night. So he's like walking around, and there's people fucking dressed up, and they're all
Right.
speaking fucking European
French.
languages, and he's like, "What the fuck? Where did I go to the wrong fucking place?" Like,
Yeah.
confused as fuck.
You know, one thing about being Canadian is just knowing a bunch of different cultures, I feel like. You know what I mean? Because we're such a mosaic out here.
Yeah.
Like, you just understanding. I know when I go around the world or when I speak to people back home and stuff, I know that like from Asian culture, at this point I feel like almost I've heard pretty much any sort of mainstream culture that exists out there. I've met people from here because we all live here together.
Yeah.
And that's pretty cool knowing that. And then but I don't know if that qualifies as culture, I guess. You know what I mean?
I
Like,
think-
what would you say is Canadian culture?
I don't know, dude. I think part of it is like, I think part of our culture is just like I was saying earlier, kind of just like an anti-American. Like we're like part of our culture is like that we're better than Americans.
Yeah, we're not American.
Yeah, like
That's
we're
we take pride in that.
Yeah. I
And
think even that's why like so many people, like every single fucking other than maybe Obama, but like every fucking president, we're like at least we're not like that.
Right.
Every fucking president. You know what I mean? Like it's like there's something about where they, like we rag on the Americans for the healthcare thing, even though ours is fucked. We rag on them for like guns, even though our laws are fucked. We rag on them for like literally everything.
Right.
And like we're not really that different. But like any small difference is like we're like that's how we're better than America.
Yes, and that was like an early. I think early 2000s thing. That was definitely a thing where Canadians were really looking to differentiate themselves. But I mean, I feel like Canada's relatively still a young country, in
Yeah.
comparison to a lot of other cultures and whatnot. But it depends on, I
Dude,
guess,
there's churches in Europe that
that are
are
older
older
than
than
this.
our country.
Yes. But that's the thing. Is like it really. I guess it really depends on how you define culture. What I tell them, like, if the definition of culture primarily, and it seems to me that when people say that they love their culture and they're tied to their culture, it's it's an attachment to their language, to the dance and the music, and to the family means and traditions, and
Mhm.
which is all great. You should all absolutely, absolutely, right. But there's certain aspects about this culture that are like outside of those things, and there's because every culture, I think, has certain negative aspects. You know what I mean? Like just
Some of them a lot more than others.
let's keep it PG here. You know what I mean? But that's but that's the thing, right? Countries, let's say,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
There's
yeah.
certain cultural things about countries that allowed them to persist in the way that they do. It's not to say that they don't have any positive stuff. Like we have, I'm sure there are certain things about Canadian culture that have a bit of a stain on it. Maybe it's not so negative, but I can say this: our negatives are minimal, very minimal. And
Unless you look into war crimes.
Canadian war crimes.
Don't.
Do-
Sorry.
I don't know if I necessarily would agree with that. That we've like committed war crimes. Canada committed war crimes. How far back are we wanting to go here?
World War II.
What were the war crimes then?
I believe there was some violations of the Geneva Convention that it was something to do with like while the North American troops were going through Germany and like kind of freeing people and like kind of liberating and like looking, kind of searching out for the last of the Nazis, basically.
Right.
They would do things like kind of go through towns and villages and they would throw like a can of beans into a house. And then if people screamed for more, like they'd be like, "Oh, please, like send more." They'd just like roll a frag in,
What's a frag?
fragmentation grenade.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
I see.
like it was just kind of like a way to like.
Just clean out whatever was left
So they throw food in first.
just to see if these rats would respond.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
yeah.
Turns out it's kind of a war crime.
Listen, man. Turns out that just war is a pretty brutal thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think
It is kind of funny how we kind of try to put rules on how you can kill people.
yeah. Well, absolutely right. Like it is because people think. I think that's what kind of like we're humans, right?
Right.
We try to say we're not animals in that sense, like in the wild,
Yeah, well, at least we put rules on how we kill each other.
right? Like that, the bear that I came face to face with, right? I knew like I couldn't say anything to this motherfucker.
Oh, he'd eat you asshole first while you're alive.
Right?
And
That was
stare
I'm
you
like,
in the
I'm
eye.
I'm like, this is the worst
And
way
you're
to
like,
go.
yo, I'm getting eaten. Like you
Like,
literally just
right?
Yeah.
Just
You
crush
hope that you pass out from shock.
crush my head first, man.
No
Just like,
chance.
but no.
Goes
But-
for that little balloon knot and
Right.
fucking eats from there.
Right? See, that's the thing. Like we're humans, we're separate. We see things like war and fighting and having to kill as more of a necessity. We're doing it because everyone claims during war it's out of protection. You know what I
Right.
mean? Both sides in a war can make their points that we're doing this out of resistance or protection or we
Yeah.
need to protect
Oh,
ourselves.
I'd love to spend like this massive military budget on like, I don't know, feeding my own citizens, but if I don't fund an army,
Exactly. Don't you dare think of doing something like that.
right? Like if I don't fund an army,
Right. Yeah, I mean, take a look at how much money is Israel getting? Like what has happened there?
right?
We're going there.
Yeah, yeah. Did you see my little smile as it comes up?
Yeah, like oh.
Okay.
No, but it's not necessarily about the funding. I don't
Right.
think it's necessarily about the funding or the money. It's about. I think when it comes to war and fighting, the people that make the decisions in terms of what's going to happen next, where to blow, that person has to be as close as they possibly can to the front lines for them to make reasonable, like, decisions that don't lead to atrocities or whatnot.
Yeah.
That's the way war used to be fought.
I don't even really get like what war is now. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
like it kind of war used to make sense.
It used to be an honorable thing almost.
Well,
Sometimes.
no, I just mean it used to make sense.
Yes.
Like it's
Yes.
like it was kind of like it was like hey, here's like where I live, here's where you live,
Right.
and like either I want what you have or you want what I have.
Right.
I'm sending 20 guys, you're
Right.
sending maybe 25, but
Right.
maybe we have like a better weapon or whatever
Right,
it is.
right.
Like it kind of made sense of like,
Yeah.
oh, they have the food, fuck them, I want the food.
Right.
Now it's kind of just like, and then it kind of evolved to like the guns,
Yeah.
where you could just kind of shoot each other.
Right.
And then it was kind of like whoever has the best ammo, the most ammo, the better spot to shoot from. What it kind of evolved from there.
Right.
And now it's kind of like, well, what are we really actually like? What's if you? Because like if I were to ask you, like, what's the point of war now? What actually is the point of war? Like, is it to get the enemy leader? But like we all know that creates like the power vacuum.
Right.
But it's like, what do we actually do? It just seems like kind of a way to get rid of a lot of people.
Well, it would be difficult to kind of just give a reason for what's the point of a particular war. I think it is case by case, like what the point of each particular war was.
Right.
I think you and I, how old we are,
How retarded that says.
we've
What's the point of war, man?
we.
I'm aware of how dumb it sounds, but I'm just being real.
What
Like,
is it good for?
Absolutely nothing. Yeah, dude, good song.
Whoa,
No,
amazing song. But no, I think it's case by case. Number one, and you and I, we've lived through 2 major wars, I guess, or maybe a handful of major wars. There was the Afghan war and the Iraq war
right.
that just ended. And right now, I think.
Hey, dude, I got a joke for you. This
Fire
is
away.
not mine. I heard it on Instagram.
Fire away. I'll probably laugh.
All right. What's the difference between 9/11 and a cow, a dairy cow?
Oh no, I'm probably gonna laugh. But go ahead.
You can't milk the cow for 24 years.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I remember seeing that. But I think when you say like, what's the point of war now?
Yeah.
I think
It's just so-
what you're really asking is
It's
who
not
are
about
who are the players in war now? Like,
well,
who-
and it's also just like you used to have to send like 1,000 guys out, and
Right.
they'd have swords and maybe some arrows and bows and
right.
guns and shit like that. But now it's like you could say, like, why would you do that when you
Right.
could just like, okay, I'm gonna send 1,000 guys out, and then like what? There's just
Right.
gonna be a drone that comes out, blows them all up.
well, look
And
at
it's like, why do we even send the military? Why don't we just fucking have these fucking streamers that play games fucking 24 hours a day?
right.
Give them a little bit of fucking amphetamines like they did back in the 30s and 40s back in war when they wanted their tank drivers to drive tanks for 18 hours a day.
Right.
Just fucking put a little gamepad in their hand. Let them fucking fly drones around. Like, why are we even sending people?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like, what are we doing?
Well, I
Just
think
play with toys, man.
that's what it seems like these days. It's just a bunch of robotics, right? I think we definitely kind of nailed the point that yes, the weaponry, the technology, and the means of war have changed, but the point of war still remains the same from my eyes. And that is, war generally begins with resources. You can put religion, you can put humanity, you can put constitution, you can say whatever you want about it, but generally speaking, I think, from my perspective, wars are generally over resources.
Yeah.
And when somebody has a resource, I look at it this way. If you live in a country, right, and you're a weak country in the sense that there's no real, government structure, there's no real development of the population, and the lack of development of the population leads to lack of development of resources within the country. And if you are sitting on a gold mine of all kinds of, let's say, minerals or whatnot that's needed for a global economy to operate, and let's say iPhone or somebody makes up this technology, they're like, we could use a lot of this lithium,
Cobalt,
and
lithium.
stuff.
Yeah.
It happens 2 ways. These companies and the economy they're gonna want these things, and you can sit here and be like, that's evil, that's bad, capitalism, whatever. Okay, fine, that's the way it is, though. If your country is not able to develop these raw materials and bring them to the marketplace and sell them themselves and participate, what ends up happening is you get bullied by someone who can, so they can come and get what they want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's generally what happens. It's over resources. You take a look at Afghanistan and Pakistan and all these situations, like these countries that are in these situations. Generally, the countries who cannot produce their own resources and bring them to the marketplace and sell them, you get bullied.
Yeah.
That's not always the case. There are times where you get bullied regardless.
I know. I get that. I get why people fight. Like, I get like the idea of like why we're, like it's always like there's either money involved opium fields in the Middle East. Who knows what we're actually doing? Like
Right.
whatever. Like I get
Right.
like it's over resources, and they're not always honest about what the resources are. But
Right.
it's usually to harvest something.
Right.
I get that. I'm
Right.
just saying, like, it's kind of like, the point used to be, like it was like kind of like a war of attrition at first. Like it was kind of like the objective was clear. Like we're all going to go to this battlefield.
Right.
There's going to be X amount of people there.
Right.
If you guys wave your white flag or all of you die, you lose.
Right.
And vice versa. Like it
Right.
was kind of like there was like a clear objective. Like we're going to go out and fight. And then the fight's over, and then we
Right.
know the winner.
Yes.
Now it's kind of
I
like
see what you're
it's
saying.
so fucking weird. Like it's
Right.
kind of like it doesn't make sense. Like even just like the way that think of it like this right now. If you were like, like 10, 15, 20 years ago, if you're like, okay, we're going to make a game about soldiers experiencing war.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be like, okay, they're going to run through, they're going to have like the trench warfare, they're going to like we played Call of Duty, we know how that played out, right? Like
Right.
seriously, you
Right,
know what
right.
I mean? But
Right.
it's like now, if you were like, okay, we're going to put like a video game of like a soldier's experience in war,
Mm-hmm.
you would just be like doing drone simulator. Or you'd be running through the forest in Ukraine with a hatchet. Like those are the
Right.
two. I don't
Yeah.
know if you watch war videos
I've seen some
on
I-
Twitter or
I
anything
do.
like
I
that.
do. It's too. I don't want to say amusing, but like it's like a train wreck. You can't look away.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Did you watch that footage of the leader of Hamas in his last moments?
Which one? Are
The
you
one-
Yahya Sinwar? Is that the most recent one?
Yeah, the one
I
Israel
have-
just put out.
No, I haven't seen any footage. I haven't seen any video of that.
Okay.
But it's so interesting. That guy's that situation's so interesting because, the next day you can see the polarization, where one side is immediately releasing an entire eulogy of this man as a heroic resistance fighter,
Right.
and then the other side sees this person as like one of the most evil terrorists that ever existed.
Mm-hmm.
And you cannot convince either side, either one,
Mm-hmm.
that this person is alternate from what you're seeing.
Yeah.
You want to ask yourself why war happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
There
yeah.
you are. There
Yeah.
you are. And it's objective. It's also the objective of the war. What is the objective of a war? And when you have a never-ending war, like if the objective is never-ending, or it's like, like the way that the United States presented the Iraq War, we're looking for weapons of mass destruction. It's this, or just before that, it was bin Laden in Afghanistan.
Mhm.
It was the boogeyman that they could control. Nobody knew where it was. Only they could. They would tell you if they found him, if they were blah blah blah.
Yeah.
They created the enemy, and they're
Well,
gonna tell
dude, it's actually even worse because what I always notice about things like that is A, it always comes after a false flag.
right.
And B,
yeah,
it's always kind of like
that one was the mother of all false flags. man.
Yeah.
Holy! I don't think in history has there ever been something so obviously
Yeah, yeah.
false flag. Man. I remember the interviews they were talking about they're like, oh, we found one of the terrorist passports in the rubble.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, that plane burned steel.
yeah.
That fire burnt steel, but this titanium-made passport somehow made it through.
Yeah.
and everyone just ate it up. Everyone
Yeah.
just ate it up. Yeah, get the terrorists.
No,
anyways,
but
you were saying.
sorry.
Yeah, my bad.
Those events, they always follow a false flag. What was I gonna say? I don't even fucking remember now.
We were talking about the means of war. I was talking about bin Laden and how they control the enemy. They would tell you.
Oh, dude, you know what it is? This is what I was gonna say. It's always one of those like it's unprovable. Like they'll just have kind of like a, if we don't do this, then this could
Right.
happen. Like it's kind of like an unprovable. It's almost like it's like if I were to like Teddy walks in,
Right.
and then you're like knocked out on the floor,
Right.
and she goes, well, why is Hussain knocked out on the floor? You obviously hit him, like your hand is swollen.
Right.
And I go, oh, but if I didn't do that,
Right.
he would have come back here tomorrow and robbed us because he knows where the keys are.
Right.
Like it's kind of like okay, but
yeah.
we can't really prove it. And now that you've done this,
Right.
he actually has motive to come back and hurt you.
Right.
Like, it's kind of, you know what I mean? Like
it's like you basically controlling the whole situation.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like
oh, he forced my hand, but
right. You have the means to attack, and you have given the reason why to attack. The
Yeah.
other person cannot defend themselves. They can't make any case. Whatever. It's like this entire thing is your play, and that's not a war. You know what I mean? That is an invasion. That is a pure conquest. That's
Yeah.
not. It's given no chance. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean? So what happened there? But what that did, man. Today, like people will look back at that war, and they see that it's so crazy to see people like the confusion that lies behind that. They see that they identify the entire White House and America as the main perpetrator of what took place. And there are people that to this day they see almost all of America's government as that evil imperialists.
Yeah.
But you'd be naive and very ignorant and kind of lazy to sit there and make that argument that all Americans inside the government wanted that and want that.
Yeah.
It's like if you take that belief and you just continue to run with it, all that happens is more of this headbutting. You know what I mean? I think there's good and evil on both sides, on every side of every particular war.
Yeah.
And it's about who gets power within each side that determines which way a war goes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
If you have somebody like I've read, Sun Tzu, like the
Art of War.
I read that, and like like back in the day, how their philosophy about war, like you were talking about. You know what I mean? I think what you're basically saying, there's like rules of engagement back in the day. Everybody knew what was happening. It was like nowadays, it's like something over the internet can be said, and next thing you know, you got like freaking planes flying over a population of citizens and dropping bombs or whatnot. There's no proof. And with the speed of things, how fast things can happen now, the rules of engagement have completely changed. It's hard to kind of monitor and kind of keep rules in place.
It's also just like it's also just like you kind of knew what to prepare for. You knew like okay, we're gonna get all the young men and we're gonna get them with this like fitness regimen. We're gonna get them running, and it's not so clear that you actually just want like the most aggressive, like most testosterone filled, strong like people anymore.
Right.
Because that's not how warfare is fought. Like now it's actually like, no, we want the kid that couldn't really go to school because he didn't know how to socialize.
Right.
And now he plays Fortnite 19 hours a day.
Right.
And he can fly a drone really well for a long period of time.
Right.
And accurately.
Yes.
Like that's who you want now. Is the like
that's your modern day, like
the kind of guy that hasn't seen the sun in 4 or 5 months.
Or his dick.
Yeah.
It's like that person now becomes a modern day Achilles. You know what I mean? Like he's the modern day Achilles. But which was, back in the day when they used to fight war. Have you ever watched the movie Kingdom of Heaven?
Yeah.
Such a good movie.
Yeah.
Love that movie. And do you remember how those two kings solved and then another king comes in place? And it literally shows it's about leadership.
Yeah.
It's totally about leadership when peace is taking place.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't care what people say, when peace is taking place, it is always a two-way street. And if there's war happening, it's always a two-way street. You know what I mean? And those two kings, when they met in the middle, there was a mutual respect for each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that line. Remember, he's like,
you like the Christian guy better?
Salahuddin was a G, bro.
Okay.
Salahuddin was an absolute G. But I think they were very similar with each other. And
they were, honestly.
That's why they could respect each other. You know what I mean? Because when you have, I forget the French guy's name. It's always the Frenchies when they take over, bro. The French Christian.
Sorry.
That was just out of pure
That was
a pure.
That was it. And authentic too, like,
right? It's genuine. When that French guy takes over and you see like what he does, it's all about leadership.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Those two, and when leaders have a mutual respect for each other, you can almost take it to the bank that whoever these people rule over, they're gonna benefit from their rule.
Right.
There isn't going to be chaos and war all the time. And in these, like for example, right? Going back to this current war that's happening right now. Like
which one?
How many are there right now? I think the centerpiece of the world, at least the one that the world's kind of highlighting all the time, which is the Israel and Palestine situation.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is interesting how Ukraine took a back seat.
Yeah. And a lot more.
They're still getting money,
right? But a lot of people. I asked this question to a friend of mine, where it's like, okay, right now, the Gaza and Israel war is really getting much of the play in the mainstream media.
Yeah.
But if you go by soldier count and like deaths and how many people have died, The Ukraine war, like they beat these numbers out of the park. Ukraine has lost almost 400. My estimation, what I heard from one of the generals, this was like a couple of years ago when the war first started. They were saying they were sending Ukrainian men into like a slaughterhouse. They have lost almost
It was
200,000.
meat grinder. That was
Yeah,
the word I kept
right,
hearing. Was meat grinder.
right. They have lost close to 200,000 men.
The Ukraine.
Ukraine, from their army. Like, what dictates in Sudan? You have like almost 45,000 civilians that have been killed and millions displaced of a civil war.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what constitutes like what should get the most attention in terms of a war, and who deserves the most aid or whatnot? Because all of it's terrible, from
Yeah.
my estimation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now and I think if you want to solve a war, it's kind of like, when families argue, the less hands from the outside families are involved, the easier it becomes to have conversations to kind of settle things.
Yeah.
And this is one of those situations where if each side holds the leadership that they're under accountable, we'll have a much faster route to peace rather than this other way around, where the other sides are trying to hold the other guy's leadership team accountable. It's almost not possible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they don't listen to you.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
They don't even rule you. They don't even know. They don't care who you are.
Yeah.
But if you take a look at your leadership and be like, well, how did we get in this situation? Instead of idolizing, you'll have a much faster way to some sort of peace. In my humble opinion, what the fuck do I know? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just a guy yapping away.
I think that a lot of it it comes down to, like, obviously, like, there's just no agreeable term. Like, if you were to ask, like, either side on any war right now, like, you're like, okay, like, what would it take for you to kind of lay down arms and stop fighting?
Right.
Like, it would literally every one of them would say something that is just, like, completely unfathomable and unacceptable to, like, most people.
Yeah,
Like,
but that's the nature of man, right? I mean, think about it. I think if you want to understand the macro, it's very easy, not easy, but it helps to kind of bring it down to the micro. And there's a lot of pride and ego involved with men when they fight. You know what I mean? If I got into a fight, which I haven't gotten too many, but like, I remember, like, you don't want to be the guy that loses.
Yeah.
You do not want to be the guy that loses.
Yeah.
And you go right to the end. And even if you do lose, sometimes like there's a grudge that shows up. It's like that pride is like left on the field. And I'm just, dude, you can't ignore that factor either. You know what I mean? So if
Yeah.
if you feel like you've been wronged, you might spend the rest of your living life to kind of wage vengeance. And if I'm being honest, I can somehow understand that. I don't think it's the right choice. You know what I mean? But who knows what someone's like mindset is if you go through something like that where you feel like, you were wronged and whatnot. I can see how you can justify devoting the rest of your life to get vengeance.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? So
It's
I
like,
get it.
what was that? There was like a general, I think it was, I can't remember who it was. Like, it was in the beginning of, I think it was middle of Afghanistan. There was like that idea of insurgents math.
Right.
And there was like, I think it was General Patton. I don't know if I want to say that that's actually who it was or if I'm just associating it with his name.
Yes, because he was he's one of the great generals, but much further early.
Okay,
earlier
yeah.
along than
I'm
the
so
Afghan
I'm
War.
so off. But anyways,
But he's a very popular general.
there was like this American general who's
Yes.
like there was this idea. He's like, what's 10 minus 2? Like, if you
Right.
take 10 insurgents from the enemy
right.
and you kill 2 of them,
right.
how many do you have left? And everyone would be like 8. Obviously, 10 minus 2 is 8. And he's like, wrong. Like, actually, 10 minus 2 is 20, because you take those 2 people you just killed, and they have brothers, uncles, cousins, fathers,
Right.
sons,
Right.
that now are like, oh, my loved one was taken by those people.
Right. Who shouldn't even be here
Right.
because and they shouldn't have been.
Right. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like, it's like, oh yeah, you take out 2, but you're actually not
You're
subtracting. You're adding to your enemy
Right.
forces.
You're birthing a whole new generation that would. That's why when I was out there, I was actually talking to one of my cousins, and he said he was talking about how they would see footage like what it took to keep one soldier from the States in Afghanistan fed, healthy, and like ready for combat. You're talking an entire camp, you know what I mean? The food resources and whatnot. And he's like, these Taliban soldiers, they live, some of them, just straight up in a hut in the mountains, in the trees, and all they need sometimes is just bread and water.
Right.
You can't beat that. the war of attrition on that is just like, you think about how much resources are being consumed to have one of your fighters ready for combat,
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
equipment and whatnot, versus those guys. Now, mind you, you're
I also don't think the American military is built to be, should we say, financially efficient. I think that the part of the point of it is to just kind of dump taxpayer dollars overseas.
Right. Well, you got Halliburton that was operating that whole thing, which was
Yeah.
owned at part by the frickin' vice president at the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
It's just
Dick Cheney. Can you believe it? Can you believe it?
And he had the perfect name.
Okay,
To pull
hey,
something
if
that
you
off.
ever become prime minister,
Right.
would it be okay if I just do every construction project?
That's
Yeah.
literally what's taking place at the moment.
Could I be your VP and then also get to decide who gets to do the construction projects?
No problem. I'll be like,
Sweet.
Mark's got. He's look at all of his. He's got an amazing catalog. He's got amazing all these case studies. $450 million.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
And what you get to build is 2 houses.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Just build me 2 decent houses.
You're like, how much could it be done for? And I'm
Yeah.
like, 100 mil. You're like, tell you what, here's 300 mil.
million.
I get 100.
Right.
You keep 100.
Yeah.
And then use
And
the
then-
100 mil to do the project.
Right. I'll give you 300.
And then let me know you need 100 more million in 7 more years.
Right. I'll give you 100 million or 300 million to do the project, right? You spend 3 of it to build these 3 houses, and then the rest, take a nice chunk for the rest, whatever project you want to do. But every year, send a nice donation to
Donation or
one of my
reimbursement.
foundations
Right.
that I use to help our communities. You know what I mean? Cancer research. And
Yeah,
all that.
cancer
The
research.
never-ending fight against cancer.
Right.
Like that one will never go away. And that's
But
how it goes.
I actually feel like, dude, you're just finding more cancers. That's all
Right?
it is. Hey, have you seen that thing since modern medicine started coming up with cures for things, that the cases of those things have just skyrocketed? I don't know if
Yeah.
that's true or not, but it's like they were showing with like a
I almost feel like you almost wouldn't even need to do a study to find that out. It
Yeah.
seems pretty obvious, does it not? Like cancers, you think about here in this country, when did like the big fight for cancer really begin? When Terry Fox decided to run across the country, and he
Yeah.
really like shined a light, and people bought into it because it was a genuine movement. But these corporations, bro, they know how to latch on to people's genuine emotion and subvert it into this case. Now you think about how much. This is an impossible answer. How much money will it take to cure cancer? Nobody knows.
right.
Nobody knows. And that's why I'm going to take it back to these NDPs. The NDP, since it's election day, vote conservative. They
It's too late.
They always seem to. We're going to have a general election too in this country, so vote conservative then too for the future. Their solution to everything is more money. We need more money. We need more money.
Yeah.
How many countries spend more money on healthcare than Canada for their per capita? If you were to take a look at it,
I don't look at
I
other
think we're right up
countries'
there. We're right
financial-
up there. We're right up there. And what do you get? 6 hours in an emergency, a couple pills and a nice kick out the door.
Yeah.
Where's all that going?
Yeah.
And
Or
they're-
if you're like me, like I have a shoulder that keeps coming out and I'm just like literally, I don't know, whenever I can get an MRI.
Right.
I can't pay to get one done, so it's
And
just
that's
so
the
just
wild part
fucking
about
wait.
we are one of the richest countries, and they tell you how you cannot spend your money.
I guess I'll wait.
Well, there you go. Your tax dollars are being used very well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and
But
you
it
get-
is nice that you get to wait at home. It's not like going to ICBC back in the day where you pull a number, or the deli where you have to like pull a number. Remember that back in the day at ICBC? Do they still do that?
They do. No, now it's more digital.
Okay.
They kind of they just let you go sit over there. No wait. I went. It's so ridiculous now. Like I went to ICBC, and I'm like, I just looking for a reprint for my
Driver's license.
for my insurance papers.
Right. You
You
don't
know-
go to ICBC for that. You go to your insurance broker.
That's what they said, right? No, I wasn't
You
mad.
should have just called me and asked
Listen,
me.
no, I went to my insurance broker first.
Right.
I just walked into one, and I didn't realize I had like $900 in tickets at that moment. And she's like,
Surprise, surprise.
I know, man. It's my non-white side. But I had like $900 to pay off, and I'm like, yeah, I don't want to drop $1,000 for like 30-cent papers right now. And plus, she's
So
like,
you forged them.
no,
Okay.
I don't do that. This isn't Pakistan.
Right.
Almost though, the way things are going. But I show up to ICBC and I explain my situation, and it's just the level of. She's like, "Do you have an appointment, sir?"
Yeah.
I'm like, when do I need to make an appointment to come and see ICBC all of a sudden?
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I don't have an appointment to ask you a question.
Yeah.
She's like, well, you need an appointment. Here, take this number, dial these people. This
Like
is
you
why.
literally could have answered my question by now.
Right. So what I did was, I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, anyways. I'm like, are you serious? So she gives me this thing, and this is where I feel like Canadian culture. This is part of my Canadianness that
Yeah.
comes out. I stepped out. I was frustrated. I'm like, you know what? There's an insurance broker right there. It's about 100 feet. I'm gonna go over there and I'm gonna speak to them politely, and I'm gonna explain the guy my situation and what I need. And I did that, and within 35 seconds, this guy had my papers ready for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I felt like that was a very Canadian interaction.
Yeah. Yeah.
Canadian culture showing up.
You know what? I actually just realized kind of one of the things that is a very Canadian trait is we like to be against somebody else. We like that. Like
Tell
if
me
you
more.
come to me and you're like, hey, I just went and like fucking went to Tim Hortons and some guy cut me off in the drive-through.
Right.
Like I would be like, all right, let's go get him. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
What are you talking
no.
about?
Okay, maybe not that, but you know what I
How
mean?
did
Like we
you
like.
grow up?
No. Okay, sorry.
Motherfucker cut me off at the drive-thru. Get out of
No.
the car. Choke him out.
No. That's not what I
Your
meant.
jiu-jitsu comes out.
You're taking me out of context,
Okay.
bro.
Okay. Sorry. Sorry.
I
Give me more
meant I meant we like
Folks,
to have
do
each
not
other.
cut off Mark in a Tim Hortons drive-thru.
Yeah.
But
We
you
like-
don't go to Tim Hortons anymore, do you? I hope not.
Pretty rarely. I just
Yeah.
make my coffee at home here. But no, I was gonna say I think that we just we kind of like to have each other's backs. Like there's kind of we'd like to have oh, that happened. Like I got you.
Right. That's different from, oh, that happened? Fuck you.
Yeah.
You know?
Hey, who said that?
This is a white guy
Anyways.
with a beard here. But
Anyways,
no, I get what you're saying.
no, but it is
Unity,
interesting.
like coming together. Of sense.
Yeah, but we gotta have a reason. There's gotta be a thing.
But that's everything. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like there's certain uniting forces around it.
Yeah.
I guess that's part of culture, isn't it? Like where does a country unite around? That would be part of its culture.
It
And
is.
I remember, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say it is kind of like I would say the funny thing about, or I guess we're kind of as Canadians, I feel like it's like we're so accepting and inclusive. Like we'll allow, like literally anything. Like it's one of the only cultures that's like and sometimes it's to a fault, but sometimes it's a really cool thing where there's almost like actually no boundaries here.
Right.
You can kind of do a lot of things.
It's funny. I totally get what you're saying, and I agree with you because that was one of the things. But I want to make something clear.
Like, dude,
There's
there's people in New York
Right.
where they're like, oh, the immigrants are just like grabbing ducks and fucking geese and like
From the
fucking
pond.
that's it, and they're just like having a little barbecue in the park.
Yeah.
Dude, if that happened here, we would just join. We'd be like,
No,
yo,
I
could
don't
I
think
have a
so.
bite?
I don't
Like,
think so. I don't think so.
100%, dude.
I don't think so. I think.
Have
there's
you been to Richmond?
Why are they stealing cats? All the Asian people?
No. I
There you
wouldn't
go.
say- That's too much, man. I'm just saying.
Okay,
that
so
they-
ducks are all right. You think people will be okay with ducks in a
I'm
pond
saying
being
that-
stolen?
Okay, I'm just saying that, like, okay. If you saw another culture at Jericho Beach in Vancouver,
Right.
and they were just from like a different culture than you were,
Right.
right? And they're having maybe a barbecue,
Right.
a hole dug out in the ground, little
Right.
fire,
Right.
and they have a little spit roast going.
What is that?
Google it later.
Okay. You have the words, man. You're white. You can give.
Yeah.
explain it to me.
It'll just be funnier if you Google it later.
Fair enough. What is it?
Anyway,
A spit off?
A spit
barbie?
roast.
Spit roast. Okay.
Okay, so they're
Sounds disgusting.
no, it's cool.
Okay. Gotcha.
Anyways, they're having a barbecue, and you're like, "Hey, where'd you get this?" And they're like, "Just have a bait, have some pieces, have a bite." And you're like, "Okay," and it tastes great, and they may be playing some music, and there's maybe some dancing, and they're kind of like,
Right.
and you're just like, "Oh yeah." Found this thing in the park, and,
Right.
and you're like, "What do you mean?"
Right.
And they're like, "Yeah, we're eating an animal from the park." Like it's kind of like and you'd kind of be like, "Oh, how'd you know how to do that?" And they're like, "Oh, it's just what you do." And you're just like, "Okay." You'd kind of low key probably laugh it off and accept it. That's kind of Canadian culture. It's
I
kind of
don't
just
know.
like a,
You know what?
all right.
Go on. I want to show you something then.
You don't think that?
No, I don't think that would take place. I think that there's a certain level of like things that we're used to seeing and not seeing, and I think that's a little bit too like
It's too extreme for
it's
you.
not for me, but anyone that's lived here for a half decent amount of time. I want to show you something because you're actually talking about a particular example where I did see something like that, and I think and you'll see this person's response, which is kind of funny because I sent it to my cousin actually. He lives. He's my cousin's hilarious, bro. He's like he always asks me, he's like, "Why is your country doing this? Why is your country doing this?"
Oh, he doesn't live here.
No, he doesn't live here. He lives back home, and he's just always like, "Why is this?" and
Do you ever send him like kind of
all the time.
pictures and you're like, hey, why is your country doing this?
Well, he shits on it. He'll shit on it so fast. He's like, "Yeah, we're all idiots out here."
Oh, really?
Yeah,
So he just thinks everyone's idiots.
back home,
Can they vote there?
it's pointless.
Right.
It's pointless because it's the military general that's like in charge of the country. But look at this, okay? Watch this.
Okay.
This is for the folks at home. Maybe you can kind of put it up during the episode or something.
Yeah.
But this is in Ontario. I don't know. What you guys are doing? What are they doing? This they're net fishing in a random little pond in like North York.
Yeah, yeah,
You're right. And this is, I think, what you're talking about, right? If you were to see this, and look at the old dude. He continues to bag him.
yeah.
You right? And this guy is somebody here who's been here.
See, dude, if I came across a bunch of people that were clearly not from the country,
Right.
hard to tell anyways, but
These days.
yeah.
Actually, I don't think it is.
I-
I've kind of I know. I can see like when someone's brand new.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
someone
yeah.
that's from the country.
No, I know, but if I saw that, if I came across that,
Yeah.
9 times out of 10,
Right.
I'd be like, are we cooking it here?
Okay, so you know what, Mark? I think one of my this just hit me. One of my reasons why I think I like you so much, and you're one of my favorite white people,
Yeah.
is because inside you probably have a brown immigrant in you,
Yeah, maybe.
right? Yeah.
Maybe not anymore, but
So what's white on the
sorta
outside
day.
but brown on the inside?
I don't know. White on the outside but brown on the inside. I don't know, man.
A Twinkie of sorts?
No, dude. Twinkies are yellow
Right.
and white on the inside.
Brownish.
Brown on the inside.
Nothing natural. It has to
Yeah.
be something artificial.
Something like me. It was created by
Right.
Yeah.
And I think I'm gonna. You know what? I'm gonna take some sort of credit for that.
Yeah.
Like
You
I'm trying
should
to do
honestly. The part of it is also it's kind of like a
I've liked culturing you.
yeah. And I appreciate it, honestly.
Right. And
You're
I
like-
appreciate you accepting it.
kind of like like a little bit of curry spice for my salt and pepper.
Yes.
You know? It's kind of nice. It's like an all season. Did you know there's a seasoning called allspice? A spice called allspice?
Meaning it's just like just a concoction of all spices.
I don't know what it is, dude.
All right.
I don't know what it is.
But
What would
there is a certain limit of how many spices.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Food.
No, it's all of them. But I feel like that's what like I feel like that's if you were to ask me like what is a Canadian thing?
Right.
Like it was kind of like I always kind of thought of it like you know how you can just kind of like and I don't know if this is like true still to this day, but you remember how like have you ever heard like you can't like if you become an American citizen,
right.
you have to revoke your old citizenship, like you
Yes.
just become an American and
Right.
that's it.
Right.
And like the kind of the expectation is like you come here, you adopt our values.
Yes.
I've always kind of thought of this, even as a little kid. It was kind of just like, yeah, we don't do that here.
We
like
don't.
you can
That's
just come
Canadian
here
culture.
and you do whatever you want. And
Right.
actually, if you try and stop somebody from doing whatever they want,
It's seen.
it's actually you're the un-Canadian one. Like
right.
go down to America where you can do that prejudice
Right.
and fucking tell people not what to do.
Right.
Whereas here, it's like, dude, do whatever you want.
It's that mosaic versus melting pot philosophy
Yeah.
between the two, and that's one of the things that made us very Canadian. The mosaic that you're talking about, but it's like within reason. You know what I mean? There is a culture and a standard here, and you can't just do whatever you want. I think what they're saying.
You can literally smoke crack on the streets.
Not only can you smoke crack in the streets here, our government will give you crack to smoke if that's what you
And the
want to
pipe.
do.
And the glass pipe.
And clean.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if you really, really, really are done with that, they'll even help you kill yourself.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like
Honestly,
we
it's
literally
nice.
help anybody do whatever they want.
It's nice, really.
And I actually do agree with you. I agree. It is nice. It is nice that we can let people be as free as they want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As long as it doesn't impede on someone else's freedom.
No.
Well, then we're good to go.
Yeah.
But
It is kind of funny though. It is actually kind of there's like this kind of thing where you're kind of held accountable unless you're not, and that's just kind of like the lines are very blurred of just like when you get I'll give you an example. I had a buddy come up one time from California, and he stayed in a hotel downtown.
white?
He's mixed.
Okay.
He's mixed. I think he's kind of like a white Asian.
That's a good mix.
White Asian.
That's a prime mix.
He's got actually a French Canadian last name. But anyways, yeah. So he kind of looks off white. Like if you were to see him, you'd be like, maybe Mexican, maybe Italian.
But really, he's like this privileged calculator.
No, dude. He's anyways. He came up from L.A. Him
Right.
and his wife came up from L.A. and they were visiting, and they were staying in a place downtown, and I was like, he came over. We did the podcast. We went out to eat after, and I was driving him back to his hotel.
Oh, I watched this. I think it's
John.
John. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Last
Autier.
name. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Continue.
Dope dude.
Yes.
And anyways, I was like, yo, do you want to go see the downtown east side before I drop you off? And he's like, well, it can't be worse than like fucking Skid Row,
Right.
California.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, it's different probably. It's just, let's go check it out. And so we're driving through there, and there's like a light. There's a guy turning left, and the light turns yellow. And the guy turns, and I'm in the intersection kind of waiting. I just let the guy turn left because he was like a cabbie, and he was just going to go.
Right.
So I had to wait for him to go through, and then I could finish going through the intersection.
Right.
And the light was yellow, and it kind of looked like I was blowing the light
Right.
because the light changed while I was waiting for the guy to turn left.
Right.
And so I go through the intersection, and there's a fucking cop right behind me.
Right.
So fucking lights flash, whoop, whoop.
Right.
And I'm like, are you kidding me, man? Like, it was fucking yellow.
Right.
And we're sitting there waiting for the cop to come to my window.
Right.
And my buddy John looks out the window, and he looks back at me, and his girl's in the back seat, Teddy's in the back seat, and he's like, yo, there's a guy smoking crack right there, and you're getting pulled over for running through a yellow light? What the fuck?
What the fuck is wrong?
Yeah. So he's like, yo,
Right.
there's a guy smoking crack
right.
literally
open.
right there. Like,
You should be like, hey, that's legal around here.
oh, dude, we provide it. And then, dude, the funny thing also was, so the cop comes to the door, right?
Mm.
And the cop comes to the window, and it's like license and registration
This is
type
so funny.
time, right?
Right.
And the cop comes up, and he's kind of like, yo, do you know why I pulled you over?
Right.
Right? And most people, especially if you're from LA,
Right.
and you're like not fully white,
Right.
you'd probably be respectful. You'd probably be like, hey, do you know why I pulled you over? And it would be followed by like one of two things, like either confrontation or just. And anyway, my smart ass he goes, do you know why I pulled you over? I go, no, I don't know why, because the light was yellow. Like, I was just kind of like, I didn't say it like very like combatively, but it was
Right,
just
right.
kind of like a, what the fuck are we doing here?
Right. Right.
Like, I'm like, no, I don't know why.
Right.
And then she's like looking at me in the back seat. His wife's like, what the fuck are you doing talking to a cop like this?
Right. Right.
I'm like, no, but I actually didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
Like, I genuinely confused
Right.
on like why that guy can smoke crack and I can't just drive through a yellow light.
Right. Oh, I think as a minority listening to this, I would say that the reason why you feel so confident to just speak and talk
I know
back
why
like-
you think that.
Were you wearing your plaid jacket too?
No, I wasn't.
Oh, okay.
But it's also just like a like we
What did the
feel
cops say
free
when you
enough.
said that? When you said that, like, oh,
He just took my thing. He took my driver's license and was just like, "All right, hold on," and then just went back to his car. And then you could see like another. There was like an undercover cop came up to him. She was just wearing like a hoodie or something, and she came up to his squad car and was like kind of like pointing at other things. I
right,
think they found a real problem.
right, right,
And then he was just like, "All right, man, just be safe," and then just
right.
gave me my shit back. Maybe he also thought I was like high or drunk or something like that,
Yeah,
and
man.
thought that he could like pin me with a DUI or something.
Right. Listen, man. You know those type of interactions I'll say to people is that those suck. It's never fun to be pulled over, right?
I guess what I was trying to say is, we culturally allow a lot of things,
Right.
but then it's weird. The lines are kind of blurred
The
on when you
dynamics.
get held accountable. Like it's like,
The
do I
dynamics.
get held accountable for the smoking crack on the street? No. But
Right.
I also got my backpack emptied when I wanted to go watch fireworks with a couple beers when I was a teenager. So I
Right.
just
But
don't really
that was
get
also
it.
a different time.
No, I know,
And these
but you
things
know
are
what I mean? Like it's
right.
kind of like a blurred line of like, is there a law?
Right. And I
Why
don't.
why do sometimes why does it sometimes matter and sometimes it doesn't?
I think what you are experiencing, what you are feeling about like the rules and law, I think is deliberate. Like this is exactly like somebody at some point thought to create a situation where the individual thinks this way of the law. You know what I mean? I think you're a byproduct of some orchestrated plan that's taken place against this country.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people feel like that. And there's a lot of people that don't have a lot of respect for our, police and soldiers and whatnot in this country because they're seen as a negative. And I can tell you this, man, nobody likes being pulled over. Nobody likes being pulled over, but anyone that's lost someone to drinking and driving, I bet you they would have loved if a cop was on top of it and decided to pull someone over because they looked a little suspicious. They were weaving or driving. You know
Yeah,
what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
I can't tell you how. And everybody, when they get pulled over, feels like it's unjustified. You know what I mean? Sometimes maybe it's so blatant that they don't, but usually, whenever a cop pulls someone over, that person feels like they're being victimized
Yeah.
by the cop, and I think that's an ideology. I generally like to have a respectful, tone and like respect the police that pull me over and whatnot. And I come from that type of like my family members that are police officers overseas and whatnot, and they've served in that career. I think it's a pretty thankless job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a thankless job. All the because no one sees a time when a police officer prevented something.
Yeah.
Never counted. You know what I mean? But when something negative happens, it's all highlighted and whatnot. But I mean, I get what you're saying. It is. I don't think your point is about the police. It's more so about the actual
It's just like the
situation.
blurred lines. Like I remember I was talking to somebody about I have one of like a customer that I was working for. She was explaining to me. She's like an Australian lady, and she was going off about like kind of like this anti-American, Trump bad, blah 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 blah,
Right.
how broken their country is.
Right.
But one of the things she said was like kind of an interesting point. She's like, and their liquor laws are so fucked. Like you can literally go overseas and kill people legally at
Right.
18, but you can't have a beer with your father in a restaurant. Like
Right.
that doesn't really add up.
Right.
Like culturally speaking, like
Right.
most. And anyways, I was just like, yeah, I mean, and then
And you
she's
vote. You can vote at 21
yeah.
down there, but you can go to war at 18.
Yeah, you can vote on economic decisions that'll impact your children, but you
Right.
can't have a beer with your father. But anyways,
Right.
she's going off, and she's like, and here it's barely better. Like you can't have a beer in the park or whatever. And I was like, yeah, but I think those are kind of like the laws where people just don't really think about them or care about them. Like nobody would really like look at like people that are just like having drinks in a park as
Yeah.
criminals. You'd never
Yeah.
be like, oh, those are people breaking the law.
Right.
You'd be like, oh, those are just people enjoying summer.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Right.
it doesn't. But like for some reason, there's this like blurred line of like nobody would think that about a violent crime.
Right.
Nobody would think that about other. But for some reason, there's these weird blurred lines of like, yeah, it's kind of against the law, but it's not wrong.
Right. Well, it's a byproduct of two things. Number one, it's a challenge when you don't have a dictatorship to change laws quickly.
Right.
We live in a democracy, and it has its pluses. One of the cons is things move very slowly because you need multiple decisions and passing laws across. Right.
You got to vote.
You got to vote, and you got to get it through the legislature. And number one, you have to get all sorts of agreements. So things move slowly, and at the same time, also combined with a very fast-paced, changing population environment, and economic system and the culture around it. You know, a lot of people have come in. The way our cities are shaped look different, but the speed of which laws can get passed and changed hasn't kept up. Right. So I think
Right.
it looks a little bit. So it looks a little strange at times. But I can tell you, enforcement is the most important thing.
Yeah.
You know, and being able to enforce. And the reason why I think we have enforcement is because there is still some level of respect left for the authority that kind of runs this country.
You think there is enforcement of crime here?
Enforcement of crime.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's enforcement of. You know, you're right. I don't recently know. I don't think it's been as good, but because the catch and release policies right now are a joke.
I think our bail system's working efficiently.
Right, it's a complete joke.
Yeah.
You can fucking.
That was for people just listening. I winked at the camera as I said
Right.
that.
But I imagine there's probably a lot of smooth brains like myself out there that would take that.
Some soft-skulled people.
Yeah, just like very little critical thinking skill. Like, oh wow, yeah, the bail system. No, our bail system is absolute garbage out here. And you can, like, for people who don't live in Canada, you can think of it this way: someone can get arrested for, let's say, stealing, and then within a couple hours they'll be back out on the street. You know what I mean?
Or violent crime.
Or a violent crime.
Yeah.
There's been people who have been killed from someone who had been arrested because they almost attempted rape or all this stuff. And it's becoming a very lawless place.
Yeah.
And the people who are, and this is what they do, you know what I mean? I can tell you this. You know what that creates for police officers? Frustration.
Yeah.
It creates a lot of frustration. Now you got a bunch of frustrated police officers who are out there who can't necessarily do their job. I don't care what your job is. It's so important to get some sense of satisfaction from what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
There is definitely people who are breaking the law. And if I see someone carrying crack, doing crack, being able to, you know, arrest them, put them into a facility, and not have them out within an hour, would be able to make a difference on someone doing the job where they're not frustrated all the time and doing all the, you know, and when you're frustrated all the time, it colors the way you see the world and how you see things, and it makes you make decisions differently. And this is all from the top. This is not a joke. I think, like, these people, they know exactly the type of situations that they're creating. You have frustrated police officers, and then you have a population that has no respect for these frustrated police officers.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
I think
Through
the biggest
media and whatnot.
I think the biggest issues that police officers face is like it's the same as like the military or any first responders. Like there's really no support for these people when they go through traumatic things. Like it's kind of like you're just breeding the type of person. It's like, all right, just kind of stifle your emotions and keep going out until you can't, and then we'll put you in a desk.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of one of those things.
Right.
But I think the other side of it is like firefighters, like everyone loves them. Paramedics, everyone loves them. Nobody's going to look at a paramedic and be like, I really fucking don't like the way that they are. You know, like nobody thinks that way.
Right.
But like cops is one of those things where it's like best case scenario, most people are neutral.
Right.
Most people are like, yeah, they're kind of good, but there's some bad ones.
Right,
Like
right.
that's best case scenario.
You're absolutely right.
Best case scenario.
I know friends
Imagine
that straight up calls them pigs.
Yeah. Imagine going to like your job every single day, and there's people that just like fuck you.
Yeah, they literally see you as a pig.
Yeah,
Like the fact
or
that
like
you
the
signed up.
ACAB, like it's like
Right.
all cops are bad. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay,
And that's like media concoction.
But it's like imagine like nobody thinks that about any other job. There's no other job that people are maybe like loggers. Maybe there's some crazy people that think that about loggers that'll throw like soup on art and shit like that. But those people are crazy. But like normal, rational people, like normal, reasonable people, that are just like best case scenario. Yeah, cops are like, yeah, there's some good, some bad. That's like the best.
That's the most hated profession. It has to be.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
In terms of like where least amount of respect and appreciation.
People appreciate politicians more than they appreciate police.
You're actually, maybe there is a case to be made. I don't know how true it is. Maybe some sort of study.
Literally the scummiest people in our
my
country.
God. Yo, so speaking of which, can we let's dive the scummiest politician of all time, Jagmeet Singh. Right, he's
doesn't even use his own last name.
Right, he was. Did you see that clip of him like confronting some dude?
Yeah,
behind.
I think he's actually a high-level jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, he can fight. He can fight, from what I heard. Like
he sounded, dude. You know what? He sounded like a gangster.
He did. He did absolutely. And when I saw that, I was so happy seeing that because I'm like, what it's revealing is who this guy really is.
Yeah,
because this guy, what's happening right now is he's under some actual pressure, and because he's under actual
Like a
pressure.
physical like you mean like just in that situation, or you mean in
No,
general?
not just in that particular situation, but the position that he's put himself in.
Yeah.
He's actually under a lot of pressure because people are starting to see the facade that he's put up.
Yeah.
He's holding this country hostage and whatnot. And in that week where that happened, there was a lot of scrutiny and a lot of pressure around him. And it's a high pressure job. I understand. You know what I mean? And I'm sure he's a nice guy. He's probably a great dad and all that stuff. But that's not what we're gauging him on. It's you're a politician, so be under pressure. Somebody calls him a corrupted bastard.
Yeah.
So he's a corrupted bastard. And you saw the guy's reaction.
Yeah.
He went right up to his face. Now, mind you, that dude was a complete weasel because he said it. And then
he's like,
immediately
"Oh, that guy
denied
said it."
Yeah, he's like,
Yo,
"Oh."
that guy said it.
And then but you know the best part was like he was right in his face, and Jagmeet's like, "Did you say it?" And he was like right up in his face, and the guy's like on his phone. He opened up his phone. He's like, scroll. It's like, bro, you have nothing to look at right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What are you
What are
looking
you
for?
even
A
looking
meme
at?
to show him?
Yeah, you literally.
What are you gonna show him, a meme?
You have the guy that you've been after to to confront him, and what you did, you totally shat your pants.
Yeah.
And you look at his frame. I'm like, this guy would have gotten eaten alive. You know, you don't. That guy doesn't need to be calling anybody corrupted bastard if you're not going to be able to back it up.
Yeah, yeah.
But there was some other older dude who had a question for him straight up. He didn't answer him. He's just like, "Oh, did you say it? What's up? What's up?" Like,
Yeah, that's
is
the
a
part where I'm like,
politician?
yo, that was the part where I'm like, yo, he actually, like, you could see the, like you said, the facade drop.
Cracking.
You could see, like, it was literally like a different person. Like, he legitimately sounded like if you were to take a gangster off
Right.
the streets of Vancouver or
Right.
Surrey or like somewhere around like North Delta or
Right.
anything like that, you know, Abbotsford or
Right.
anywhere around
Right,
that
right.
area, you know, like you'd have. It would sound like that. Like
Absolutely.
It would sound literally like that altercation.
People you get to see Jagmeet Singh for who he really is in that moment. And you know, the next day, he got up and actually threatened one of the members of Parliament in Parliament. He got up and he's like, "Yo, let's fight. Yo, what's up?
Yeah.
What's up?" I'm like,
Yeah.
bro, what is all these beautiful speeches about togetherness about? I've always known it's all a facade.
Yeah.
It's all bullshit. And he'll go up on there and blah 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 blah, and then in Parliament, this is how you behave.
But do you think that it's also kind of just like a thing to capture the young? Like, do you think he's doing that to try and
No.
capture the young group? Because like that's kind of like if you were a politician right now and you're like, we need to get the next generation. Because I think that most people.
I don't think those particular situations, in terms of how he behaved, had any sort of preemptive thought to garner any sort of reaction.
You think that's the most authentic you've seen?
That's, I think, was a crack in the veil showing up,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't care who he is, I don't care who you are, his publicist, his people that tell him, you know, take care of media
They didn't
relations.
write that down.
They were like, that is not a good look.
Yeah.
It's just not a good look. I don't care who you are. No crowd.
You don't think that was
That attracts the 14-year-old.
That's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
the next generation of voters.
Right. Now,
Because even honestly,
Right.
even when I saw that video,
Right.
I was kind of like, it is kind of cool that he just stands on that.
You know, he's standing on his business.
Yeah.
I will say that was probably the first time where I kind of looked at him with just with an ounce of respect.
Because Trudeau gets shit thrown at him and people yell at him, and like they literally have to pretend it's not happening. They're like, "Fuck you,
Right,
communist
right,
scum,"
right.
and
That's
he's just
true.
like, "Thank you, thank you." You know, like it's just they just like pretend. Whereas Jagmeet's like, "Yo,
no, I ain't gonna stay. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna take that.
He's like, "What'd you say? What'd you say?" And that was
I have some
honestly,
respect for that.
in my eyes, honestly, it was the coolest he's looked.
100%. That
It
was
was
probably
better than his TikTok videos. It was better than.
You know, when you see him in those TikTok videos all soft spoken, I'm like, that's not who this guy is. That's just not him.
Yeah.
Be yourself.
Yeah, and
It
use
earned
your
more
own last name.
Oh shit! You know, but no, it's just Singh is like you. Singh is it's a commonly. I think all Punjabi men have a middle name Singh, and then all
Yeah.
Punjabi women have middle name. I want to say Kaur. I'm not sure, but like.
No, but
but
it's a
it's like
middle
something
name.
to do.
It's not
Right,
his last name.
but some people use it. But what is his real last name? Do you know?
Dhaliwal.
Dhaliwal. Oh right. Why doesn't he use his last name?
From what I understand, I don't know if it was you that I spoke with last time about this, but from what I understand, it has something to do with like the caste system in India,
Oh right.
and that maybe the same way that a straight white male is oppressive or seen as an
As a-
oppressive thing,
right.
a Dhaliwal might also be.
In that, yeah, you're right. I think
And
Dollywall's
so
like
I think
on
that
the
it's
upper, and it's not a good look if you're the NDP leader, always talking about inclusivity and equality, and we're all the same.
right, and
But
it's
that, but that's the thing about
but I think that it's just like such a it's I the reason I think it's just as like a silly move
right.
is just like how many the only Canadians that would know anything about that would be Indo-Canadians.
Right about why he's not using his
Nobody fucking cares in Canada if your
No,
last name is Dollywall, dude.
no. But I think eventually that
The
would come
only
out.
people that do are racists, so you're just pandering to racists.
Yeah, yeah. Well, but again, it's just another reason for why the guy should just be himself. I think
Yeah,
he would have
yeah.
more respect. People would be able to listen to him more. When you see him go up there and he's like, "I think Canadians are, Canadians are very inclusive." It's like you're all full of shit. You're full of shit. Let's
Maybe
see
that's
that.
why I think it's the coolest he's been. Just because
Yes.
it's like, oh, that's the only time I've actually seen his personality.
Right. We want to see the real, the real Jagmeet stand up kind of deal.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
And you saw it
Real
in
Jagmeet Dollywall.
that Sing Dhaliwal.
I like the last name.
It's an awesome last name. Mind you, I always joke with my Punjabi friends. I tell them, like, your entire race has, like, 6 names for everybody. Like, how many Amandeeps do you know?
Bro, I'm sorry, you're as a Muslim guy, you're gonna make that joke?
We have more names.
What's the most common name in the world right now?
Muhammad.
Okay.
That doesn't mean we don't have names.
You've got fucking 1 to pick from, bro.
No. That's
Okay,
the most-
2, you've got Ali as well.
Hussein.
Okay.
Yunus. Yusuf. Listen, we can go on forever.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you go down the
Yeah,
Punjabi
you
line.
guys do have a lot of names.
Yeah, because the reason I say is it stops with Punjabi real soon is because you go Harpreet, Gurpreet, and
A lot of
Harneet,
variations
Harneet,
of-
and then you just switch, and then it turns into like Harpinder, Gurpinder, and it's not like
Right,
And when you
right.
drive through Surrey, sometimes like you see
It's kind of like one of those things where it's like if you have a pair of brown pants, a pair of blue pants, and a
Yes.
pair of white pants or something
it's a
like
mix
that.
and match.
Like you have 3 pairs of pants,
right.
but that can give you like 12 different outfits if you wear it with a different hoodie or a different shirt or a different.
Right.
And that's how you do the name thing there. It's like you kind of have like the 3 ways to start it,
Right.
5 ways to end it.
Right.
But within those,
Right.
you actually have like countless ways to combine them to get different things.
It's a very efficient way of doing things.
That's
And I
smart.
find brown people to be that way. They're very,
very efficient people.
efficient, hardworking people, but they
Very-
like to have a good time too.
Yeah.
But that's like But if you go through Surrey,
They're not all bad.
I would say very little of them are.
Okay. On that note, I gotta pee one more time.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, I guess. Do you want me to? I'll continue on. What's going on, folks? I got thrown up under. For anybody, when you guys hear us talk and you feel like, oh, that was a little too much or that was hilarious or whatever, Mark would really appreciate if you guys just drop some comments and let us and communicate with us and let us know what you guys like to hear, what you guys like to hear more of. It'll give him and myself a better idea. Because other than that, we just kind of we just let her rip up on the show. So I'd like to give you another joke, but I don't really have one. So what do I talk about here? All solo. I mean, I have a solo podcast, so this shouldn't be a huge issue, but I'm kind of drawing a blank at the moment. It'd be nice if we had a question. Question from the crowd? We don't have one. I'm just filling in airtime. But let's talk about some things that are going on that I think I'll talk about some stuff that I guess that I'm going through. This would be like over Mark's head. He's a little, the IQ's not really there. Oh, wait, there he is. He's back. How you doing, buddy? We don't have to go there. Good. Huh? Is it? Yeah, you're right, actually.
IQ is so racist, dude.
Yeah, I'm having a good time. This is great. This is one of those ones we're really flowing.
Yeah, yeah.
Good. So back to, so you know how we said they name their kids very efficiently?
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's like creatively on the name side. I don't think they're that great because if you go through like Surrey and you see some of the business names,
yeah.
I literally saw a place called Large Pizza. Just in case you're wondering, like,
I think
what
maybe
you're buying, like,
Yeah.
Coffee Bean or like the names are very simplistic but very effective.
Yeah, yeah.
The
Very efficient people.
Efficient, effective. Get it.
Every
across the
single and I'm not trying to make insinuations.
line. Right. Here we go.
But I feel like a lot of and you see it also with the Vietnamese.
Right.
I'd say is another culture.
Great language, by the way.
Yeah.
Duck, buck, duck.
Yeah. But I was gonna say all of their businesses kind of low key sound like shell companies. Kind of doesn't sound like a real business.
Now you're teetering into some special space.
I'm just saying, like I'm not trying to insinuate anything. I'm just saying the names themselves
Okay.
kind of sound like if you were like, okay, Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
give
yeah.
me
I
a
started a
business
business
name that sounds like a shell company for something.
like you said, large pizza. Yeah.
Yeah, like they didn't have time to deal with this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, and then you're like, okay, what's the business name? Like, if you were to like look at like the legal name of the business, it's probably like Large Pizza Ltd. And you're just like,
No, but you know when
it
you think,
doesn't sound like a real.
you know
Do you know
why?
where? Do you know where Teddy gets her nails done?
Where?
I think it's called
Nails?
I think it's literally called HD Nails.
Right. But okay, so
Doesn't that just sound like it's kind of like a cash only business where kind of like a
it sounds. Here's why I think
someone's aunt is running it, and you're like, what?
that is the case, but I don't think that's enough evidence to suggest they're shell companies because
No, no, no. I'm just saying that
you
they're
know,
names. I'm
right.
just saying culturally they're kind of
Because
they pick
that's-
names that just kind of
just go because that's how it is back home.
you're like filling out
Where
the
they're
fucking
from?
business application. They're like, what's the business called?
Yeah, business.
White people are like, oh, I actually have a fucking 9-page spreadsheet on my logos and what they're called
right.
and
That's white culture, bro.
yeah.
You guys think
Whereas
this,
other people are like, no, I bought the pizza oven. We're making pizza and we're gonna sell it. They're
Right.
like, what's the business name? It's called fucking pizza oven.
we make better pizza.
It's called Quick Pizza.
Right.
That's it.
You guys
Come
but-
in, grab the pizza. It's quick. That's the business.
When
Like,
but that's how exactly because they focus more so on the business. When you go overseas, you'll notice like a lot of people have small merchant little stores and stuff, and the way they name them is literally like after their last name and the service that they provide. It's like Mohammed Saris.
that's another way. Maybe I'm like, because our company Hendrickson Contracting.
Right there, you go.
It's
You know
like,
what I mean? It
who
works.
does it? What do we do?
Contracting?
Yeah,
It's very effective.
yeah, yeah.
It's really like that side you're talking about. Like that's really high level white people, where you really kind of think stuff through.
I didn't do it. My dad did.
You're right. Okay. Well, you're
Another
one of those-
white
But I
person
guess
thing.
I'm gonna take. I'll take that back because I don't know if you guys think stuff through. Because I was talking to somebody. I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday. And I mentioned this the show called "I Shouldn't Be Alive."
Never heard of it.
It's a great show. You guys should check it out. It's all over YouTube. I think it was a show back in the '90s or whatnot, but or early 2000s, and now it's on YouTube. But it's a real life.
It's about
it's-
the girls that were born in China.
No. It's this reenactment.
Come on, that's hilarious. I should be alive. Anyway,
It was
all the
Or
daughters.
You could say the Middle East before Islam showed up,
right.
but the
You mean the Wild West?
yeah, or that but what was I saying? I was onto something here.
I shouldn't be alive.
Oh,
How
right,
white
the
people,
show,
we
yeah,
don't
so-
plan for things.
Yes, because when you watch that show,
I think
I
we're
said-
you.
I said that. You guys think stuff through.
Mhm.
In that show, that thinking stuff through is out the freaking window because
Right.
the show's called "I Shouldn't Be Alive." It's all true stories and reenactments of people that were in life or death situations and they somehow survive.
Right.
Not one thing was genuinely thought through. Some of the stuff you see that these people do,
Mhm.
and I'm like, you know what? I've watched. I think over the course of a year, we ended up watching like all 6 seasons. And I kid you not, maybe I missed it, but I did not see one non-white person in
Yeah.
that episode. They were all white,
Yeah.
stuck on the side of a mountain, or stranded at sea, lost in the jungle, fighting a bear. All white.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like how did you guys? Where's the gap? You know, and maybe I'm not one to talk because I came face to face with the bear, but at least it was in the city.
Right.
You know.
I'd say that again, maybe that's part of Canadian culture as well. Is like we are so privileged here.
I don't know
I
if
think
that's
it's really-
Canadian.
I
I don't
really
think
think-
it's Canadian.
No, I will say okay, the white Canadians then. If you were
Yes.
to, like, it's
Well,
like
that was
kind
the
of
whole
like
point.
yeah. It's kind of like we're the only people that would go in those situations.
Which I will commend because you guys definitely have that exploration gene in you. You know what I mean? You guys go and circumvent
Right.
the map, like the world, and map the world and all that. Not to say the other cultures didn't, but you guys really went out there and like.
Are Spanish white? I think Spanish did a lot.
Spaniards did it too. Yeah.
They did a lot of it. Do you
They're n-
consider a Spanish a white?
No.
How about Italians?
No.
Okay. How about Greeks?
No.
They're not white? None of them, they're not white?
I'm just gonna because when I speak to Italians and Greeks and Spaniards, they don't feel white at all. They feel like they have a very unique culture.
Do I feel white?
You tell me, but I will tell you, you definitely fit the bill for white. I don't know how you feel.
Thank God.
Because what's your? I think white. people associate. For me, like Europe, it would be Germans, Austrians, um,
The first time I heard
Eastern
an Italian
European, all of
person,
United Kingdom.
the first time I heard like an Italian person be like, "Oh, that's like a white person," I'm like, "Bitch, you're white," and they're like, "No."
Yeah. Okay. I learned. I was at a friend's wedding, and there was this girl there, and I think she said something, and I'm like, oh, that's like you white people do that. Yeah, that's cool. That's a very white thing. And she was like, I'm Greek.
Yeah,
And I think like because it's not cool to be white right now, as you mentioned earlier.
yeah.
People, anyone that can somehow.
It's not like a
run-
right now thing. It's just not that cool. We're kind of just like a. It's okay.
No,
I
it's
would
a
say.
right time. It's a
I
right
would say
now
like
thing.
this.
It's a right. It's not the best time to be white right now.
I would
Let's
say
be
this.
honest.
I would say this. It's the thing about being white is it's kind of like and this is freestyle here. I'm making this up as I go.
Okay.
It's-
I'm with it.
It's kind of like tasting like water. Nobody would choose. Nobody would choose that.
Right, right. If there was like a catalog.
But
of
if you're in a
drinks.
bad situation and it's hot out, you kind of want them around. You kind of look to them to be like, "Hey,
Okay.
are we gonna?"
Okay, you know what? What you know how you say you're just coming up with it. I actually, that theory kind of applies. I'm not going to mention the name or even how I know them, but they know who they are. We went car shopping.
Right.
This person was getting a car, and we went to this used car lot, and like we went to this, and they were looking at this particular car, and I was with them, and they're like, I don't want this car, and then we decided to tell the guys no. And the person was just like, I'm not really feeling the vibes from this place.
Yeah.
They seem like a little.
Was it the
dodgy.
Ford dealership?
No,
in
no,
New West?
No, it was like a Dodge dealership. It was a used car lot. It wasn't like a actual place. And these guys were not white, right? They're not white. I'm not gonna say what race they are.
You can.
Persian.
Okay.
They're Persians.
Oh, the guy selling the cars.
Yeah, all three of them are like Persians. Right?
Given. That's a given.
Right. And this person felt very uncomfortable as a result. And I'm like,
Your friend.
yes.
Also a white guy or a Persian guy or
The only thing I will say is they were not white. They were not white.
well,
And
it's kind of important though because
yeah,
Middle
that is-
Eastern people I feel like are very comfortable in situations.
you'd be surprised, bro. I'm starting to find out. You know, when you speak to the truth of people, doesn't matter what race they are, in those type of situations, usually they'd prefer to be dealing with a white person because it's like they're more. You can just kind of trust they're a bit more. They're gonna follow the rules a little bit. They're
We're
not,
just like, yeah, it's
they're
straight.
not. They're
Whatever they're telling you is probably
Not, it's straight up. They're not. They don't have anything up their sleeve in a sense. You know what
they
I mean?
can't. They're not like slick enough. There's no, and they never had a reason to have something up their sleeve.
Right. They're like you expect.
They're just like, yeah, I'm just telling you
We're
what.
gonna follow the rules. Right?
Yeah.
Like that fishing video that I showed you. Right. You can tell the guy on the other line saying, "Hey, you understand that's extremely illegal." That's a white dude. You know,
Yeah.
A brown person not gonna pull over and be like, "Hey, you guys are." Not to say that they won't. I
Yeah.
think I would. You know what I mean? I'll probably mention something, but because I was raised here. But like white people like to follow the law
Yeah.
and follow through on that kind of
Some
stuff.
of them. Yeah.
Some of them, yeah. The ones that haven't been like culturized
Yeah.
outside of white.
Anyways.
But I think we've been pissed off enough people about that.
No, but what was I gonna say earlier? Yeah, there is. Anyways, what happened with your friend? You said your friend was uncomfortable buying a car
Yeah,
from a
'cause they-
Persian guy.
Because like then they sent like one guy after the other to try to close a deal. Just
Yeah,
more
yeah.
high pressure, and no car didn't end up buying the car obviously.
Yeah.
And ended up going to an actual dealership where they felt more comfortable, and the credibility was not there. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And they actually said they're like, you know what? If I'm being honest, if it was like a white place, they probably would have felt a bit more comfortable moving forward.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think if most people are being honest, they'd probably kind of say the same.
it depends.
It really does.
It depends on what you're buying too.
Yes. And it also like I would not go to some sort of Indian restaurant owned by a white guy.
No, no,
Like,
no.
That's a terrible mistake.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think that happened in St. Louis. I was down random St. Louis place, and my girlfriend at the time that I was dating, we were young, and it was a white, predominantly, all the wait staff and the chefs were white and black,
Mm-hmm.
and they had a lot of like American food, and on there was a curry dish, and I was dating this brown person, Can't keep them from curry, apparently.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, we're in the States. Give it.
Can't keep.
And out of this giant menu, they picked the one curry dish.
Go
I'm like,
figure.
are you sure you want to do that? It's not going to be good.
Yeah.
It's not going to be good. And I'm like, no, I'll give it a try. It was like some rice and some yellow curry, and they brought it back, man. This thing tasted like it was made out of petroleum.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
disgusting. She obviously gets amazing curry at home. Like, she knows what.
Yeah,
decaf
yeah,
is.
yeah.
Then she got like the shit of the shit curry,
Yeah.
and we almost puked, all of us. I'm like, what were you thinking about getting curry from a white place?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's
What
your
are you?
fault.
Yeah. What
That's
are
your
you
fault.
doing?
But they were kind enough to take the whole dish back and let her replace without charging her.
Wow.
They're like, you know what? Let us give you something white.
It was like it was probably like a Betty Crocker fucking packet of
Something
curry.
Like, that's what it tasted like, bro.
And it was
like
just
powdered
like just
curry.
add water.
Yeah,
It's just-
it mixed with the rice.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
tasted like absolute ass. And I'm like, I hope you learned your lesson, baby. Never again.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm.
There's certain things you don't want to buy from white people.
Right. Anything that needs flavor.
Yeah. Or yeah, from anything with a microchip in it, you also don't want to buy from whites.
Yeah, that's true. You guys have this innate, I don't know what it is, like this gene to just want to take over shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, well, I feel like that's kind of like a human thing. We're just better at it. But
I concur. Yeah. I think if you're a competitive man, you'll generally like kind of have that drive. Like if you're not completely beta, you'll have that drive to want to dominate and just
yeah, yeah.
whatever
and
you're doing, you know what I mean?
if you
To
just
kinda
look at
win,
any
not
culture-
dominate, but at least like do your best.
if you just look at any culture, the reason that they're a culture is because they did that to another culture. So any culture is like that.
That's an interesting statement. Say that again.
Like if you look at a culture
Right.
that exists today,
Right.
the reason that they are a culture is
Uh-huh.
because they dominated another culture.
So, okay, let me see if I can follow this. So, how would do you think natives dominated any culture at all?
I don't know. The story I'm told is they were the first ones here.
Right.
So they just dominated the land, I guess.
Well, there was like different tribes and different native cultures within here, and some
Right.
dominated others for sure. Like there was cannibalism that was going on. Like you would eat the heart of the chief that you just beat, and they would take like their
No,
women and
no, they
children.
lived in harmony and peace, and
Hmm.
I think they just fought whites.
To protect the land.
Yeah.
Yeah, this isn't Pocahontas, bro. This is like reality.
Oh no, I think. Anyways,
Or Avatar. You know, like
I
the movies
usually
make-
I just say if I know that white people are involved in the history, I think that they're the bad guy. But that's just what I
that's they're
think.
telling you.
But
That's what they're telling you.
it is interesting though what we were. I just remembered. I was before I peed. We were talking about Jagmeet Singh
Oh, yeah.
and my recent liking to him that I found.
Right.
And it is
It's
interesting
a
that
mutual liking.
I don't think so, but
No, I mean like between you and I, not him. I'm sure he wouldn't.
oh,
like
you
us.
like him now too.
Well, I've kind of like at least grown. I don't
In the
like
last
him.
15 minutes, you
I've
just
grown to respect just a little bit because in that moment he was able to at least show who he is.
yeah. I was gonna say that it is interesting how like even when you don't agree with someone, even when you don't like quote unquote like them,
Right.
when you see their authenticness, there's just kind of like a little bit more like okay, I get you.
Yeah, it's a mutual respect thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? 100%. Because you can move faster, you can get to places on disagreements when you're both coming from that place.
And it's also just like even like when someone's saying the things you like, if you can kind of see that there's a facade, you're kind of like, who's this scumball?
Right, right. Even
You know
if
what I mean?
I get exactly what you're saying. Even if you agree with what they're saying, but you can kind of, it's like a character thing, right? You're trying to gauge their character, and you probably don't want to be a part of that. And this-
Yeah, yeah.
But sorry, you were saying about Jagmeet.
It is kind of interesting of like how you could like I don't know if respect is even the word, but it's kind of like it kind of makes you look at them and like there's like obviously it happens with all political pugnance and all like the sides of it. Like there's people like obviously tend to lean a bit more right than left, and
Right.
so like there's people that I follow on Instagram or any other social media where like I see them and they're saying the things that I agree with, but
Right.
I'm like, yo, fuck that guy. Like, fuck that guy. Like,
Right,
there's
right.
just certain people that rub me the wrong way because I feel like maybe they're playing it up or they're like, okay, yeah, you might not agree with this, but like, you'll probably make more from your sponsors if you say it kind of thing.
Right. That's
We're-
what the kids call like you're reading the vibes.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Their vibration.
But then there's other people that it like that video of Jugmeet Singh where it's like kind of like if you were to be like, do you agree with like if here's a list of his policies, how many do you agree with? It's obviously gonna be like way less than the person I was just talking about.
Right.
But it's also like after seeing that video of him actually like dropping the mask and being like
What's
authentic to himself,
Yeah.
there's a part of me where I'm like, that makes me smile. It makes me laugh, and I'm like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
kind of cooler.
I agree,
Like,
man.
do that
100%.
more.
Yeah, do that guy more because that's who you are. You know what I mean? At least
Yeah.
we can have a conversation with that person.
Yeah.
You can't have a conversation with the puppets these guys are playing. You know what I mean? Just like a radio. You feel like you're talking to a radio tape recorder that's just on repeat.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
not
yeah.
who they are. It's not. Nobody appreciates like inauthentic fakeness. If you don't appreciate it in your own personal life, fuck that. If you think you're gonna like get away with it well, they have. But
I was gonna say it's even more. I feel like it's even more. I don't know if pertinent's a word or like. It's
that's
almost.
a big one. Pertinent.
I
What does
don't
that mean?
know
Is
if
that-
that's right the way to use it, but it's almost
You know what
more
means?
like kind of like that kind of rule is more obvious in like personal everyday life,
Right.
where it's kind of like you know when you can sense that inauthenticity
Right.
of somebody,
Right.
you're just kind of like
Pertinent.
like kind of like you. It's kind of like a fuck that guy. Like
Yes.
it's kind of even if they're like kind of saying things you agree with, even when you're saying things you don't align with, or that you do align with, when you can kind of feel that kind of like weird, like you're like, who are you? What are
Right.
you doing? Why are you
Right.
saying this? Like
Right.
it's kind of like a. Whereas like even there's people that like I think you know there's people that you'd have around to a barbecue or a party
Right.
where they kind of say shit all the time where you're like, oh, I don't really like what they're saying or I don't agree with what they're saying, but you're kind of like, I don't know why I like this person so much.
Yeah.
Because you're just like kind of like, fuck it. I like having them around.
do you kind? I think do you kind of give off that vibe sometimes? You think like when you go around?
Me personally?
Yeah. Because
maybe.
you're one of the
Yeah, probably.
you're one of the few white men that I know that's just not afraid to go out there and kind of express what they think. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Genuinely. And I'm sure people find that's very authentic. And like what you were saying, it's not so much about what you're saying, it's about who you are and who you're being. And if you can be yourself and authentic, you can kind of bridge, you can find an easier path to a bridge between the differences that you have with someone.
Yeah, yeah.
If you are the idea, people are not going to like you. But if you can explain or understand an idea, it's a bit different story.
Yeah.
Because people don't follow. People genuinely want, I think, what they want to do is like they want to follow and get to know a person, not necessarily an idea or a philosophy. And if you are just a philosophy and idea and that's your entire identity, it's very difficult to communicate with you. And I've been through both, you know what I mean? I've been like on that side where you take on an idea so much where it becomes who you are.
Mm-hmm.
That's a difficult person to be around.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's also not kind of like, it's also like I almost like when I'm talking to somebody, I want to be like, yo, tell me what you think.
Right.
And tell me what you're seeing and what you're hearing. Because it's probably more interesting than what I've already heard or what you're going to, what you think I need to hear or whatever it is.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's kind of like if you and I were like sitting in the backyard.
Right.
And I was like, yo, the sun's really warm right now. And you're like, yeah, the sun's really warm right now.
I know what
And I'm like, yeah. And
And
then
you're
like
just like,
someone
yeah,
else
yeah.
comes in the situation where like, hey, the sun's really warm right now.
Right.
And then they're like, yeah, I noticed the sun's really warm.
Right.
And like we're all just kind of saying that.
Yeah.
Whereas like someone might come in and say something and they're like, yo, the sound of the chipmunks singing is really nice. And you're like, well, that's actually not the chipmunks singing, it's the birds. Like you're kind of wrong with what you're saying.
Right.
But I
that's not-
wasn't paying attention to that before, and now I am.
Right. Right.
Where it's like kind of like it's like, wow, you were actually like authentic enough and wrong,
Right.
but we respect you.
Right,
Like we
right.
actually want you around because now you're pointing out funny things or cool things or like it's kind of like this like inauthentic or this like authentic way of just like, yeah, I know no one else is saying this, but like I'm noticing it and I'm
Right.
gonna just say it.
Right. I think what you're revealing here once again is just the person. You know what I mean? The idea of the person. Your value is in discovering who you are and becoming that, and then like expressing ideas and knowledge of the world through you, versus you kind of dump yourself into an entire idea and philosophy, and you become this hollow person where the download is a program, which is a philosophy or whatnot. And I think that's what most of the world is these days, really. They think it's a lot of like programming, but I just want to, pertinent, I have a definition.
Okay, we're gonna hear the definition of pertinent.
Relevant or applicable to a particular matter.
So do you think I used it right in that context?
I forget exactly how you used it, but I think you did. Because the way you're like, it's pertinent, meaning were you saying, this is very relevant? That's what it sounds like. This word is.
We'll run it back and look later. I don't
Yeah,
remember,
we'll
but
analyze.
but
But yeah.
it is like, just to go back to that example, like it's like if the sun is warm and all three people are like, yo, the sun is really warm, like it's like like what they're saying is actually true. It's
Right.
actually like yeah, you're being factually correct, but it's also just like not an interesting conversation.
Right. Right.
It's also not fun,
Well, yeah.
and it's also not benefiting anybody. Like it's like, yeah, we can all tell,
Right.
and it was already brought to my attention. So it's like you're not really benefiting. You might be saying something that like, oh yeah, you're enforcing what I said. It makes me feel good.
Right.
Like it's kind of like a nice thing.
Don't you feel like that's most people? You know, I find most people are not down to like ruffle any feathers. They just want to like, they don't want to say anything that might even like, if it means they're willing to sacrifice how they're actually feeling about a certain situation just to allow whatever needs to come out is appropriate for the time,
Yeah, yeah.
and those are like, or for the other person. Isn't that what most people are, you say? Would you say, or like no?
Yeah, yeah. I think that a lot of people are kind of in a position in life where it's they kind of want to avoid bad feelings, and they kind of want to avoid doing something that could be perceived as bad. Like I think a lot of people are, put it this way, like I think a lot of people, like if you were to say, for example, like if you had mice in your house and you set a mouse trap,
Mm-hmm.
and it's one of those old school mouse traps where it just kind of like snaps down.
Right.
And I think, I don't know if you've used those before, but sometimes what happens is really sad, actually,
Right.
where it'll snap down on like their leg or their arm or something like that. And then they don't die. They just like kind of like fucking panic, and they go into shock, and they have a broken leg, and it's just like really sad.
Right.
And if you encounter that, you're kind of left with like two decisions. It's kind of the same as like if a bird hits your window and you notice it, and you're kind of like looking down at them. This happened to me. So like I've been in this situation, both sides of it,
Right.
where you're kind of faced with the decision of like, do I ignore this and just kind of walk away because I know like they're going to die eventually.
Mm-hmm.
So do I just walk away and have nothing to do with it?
I see.
Do you know what I mean? Like I feel like most people are kind of like the ones where they're like, I'm not getting involved. I'm not getting my hands dirty.
Right.
I'm not. They're walking away, and
100%.
then I
100%.
I flipped it on the other end, and I kind of like, ever since I've been in that position, it's like I don't really have the heart to just like let them suffer.
You mean like walk away from a mouse dying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like it's kind of like I should put him out of his misery kind of thing. And it's a shitty thing to think about, and even like saying it, you feel kind of dark and weird, but it's like obviously the appropriate thing to do. Like obviously the appropriate thing to do is not to set that type of trap or whatever. But the other thing is like,
I mean, that's debatable, but yeah.
yeah, it depends on how you value life and
Right.
and whatever. But I personally, I'm like, I'd rather give it a quick death. Why
Yeah.
inflict the pain
I agree with you.
if you're gonna kill it?
I'm 100% agree with
Like,
you.
personally, I just buy cats,
I would
so
probably
I
do the
let
same.
them do the whole like
Let
you can-
nature.
yeah.
Let nature deal with
let my
itself.
cat deal out the suffering.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's kind of like I feel like part of, and this is kind of like we'll say like a negative aspect of Canadian culture, or like where I see like people around me in my life. Like it's kind of like it's a problem. I feel like when we're like, hey, I'm gonna do this thing that kind of makes me feel a little bit less pain and uncomfortability, but it's also like allowing somebody else to suffer more.
I see.
And I'm only okay with it because I don't notice it, I don't see it, nobody else notices it, nobody else sees it,
Right.
and so like we can kind of justify that, of like, as long as I kind of feel like a good guy,
Right.
then I'm in moral high ground. That's kind of where like I feel like we're at.
Yeah, because people are gauging. I think in that case, it's like it's your how you value yourself is going to determine like how you behave in that moment.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know what I
yeah.
mean? So I agree with you. I think I mean I agree with you in the sense that like we're totally eye to eye in terms of putting the person out of their suffering and not it kind of goes all the way back to the war thing that we were talking about earlier. You know, there's some wars where some generals take prisoners of war and treat them like absolute, you know what I mean, like torture chambers. And there are others who take on the soldiers and tell them, hey, if you either fight loyally or if you are loyal and you agree that you'll never fight us again, we'll release you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's all kinds of different ways to approach
Or
it.
they just killed him.
Yes.
It's like no torturing. It's just like we're just killing you.
Behead
Sorry.
Yeah, we're gonna
Yeah,
behead you.
you're the enemy. Sorry.
All right, sorry. And the enemy was like, yeah, I got you, man.
Yeah.
Like it's that type of situation.
Yeah. It is interesting though. It is kind of one of those things where it's I don't know what other situation I would even apply to with in regards to like the like putting a mouse out of his misery when you find him injured or something like that. Like it's kind of like it's one of those things, yeah, where it's like kind of the perception of how you think people will view it
Right.
as opposed to doing something where you're like this is probably the right thing to do. It sucks. I don't want to do it, but it's probably the right thing to do.
I think what you're saying is like there is a right and a wrong, and then there's a perceived right. And most people go after what is perceived to be right because it's the perception that allows you to kind of re-identify who you are.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right? You're totally right. And I've come to, I think it goes like this. It'd be interesting what you think. But I think that, you know, most people in their quiet moments, they will prove to you that the most thing that they're most loyal to is their insecurities, right?
What do you mean?
In the sense that I think we all have insecurities, right?
Mm-hmm.
But our most shameful ones are the ones that we are most loyal to. And what I mean by that is if that is ever to become exposed to the public about what we're insecure about,
Mm-hmm.
we will sacrifice or make a lot of different things about ourselves to do whatever it takes to make sure that what we're insecure about is hidden from the world versus doing the right thing and facing the fact that, you know, our insecurity is going to be exposed. I think most people in those cases would make a decision that'll help cover up the insecurity at whatever cost the price is.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Some people, like, and this is where, like, for myself, I've come to understand why people make certain decisions, and some people like just can never even understand, especially like these two true crime shows.
Mm-hmm.
Like I watched this one guy who's a dad, and one night he got into this huge argument with his wife or whatever, and he ended up killing like his wife and his two daughters.
There's Chris Benoit.
Yeah, that guy did it, but he was like he was CTE, right?
Yeah, so was Chris Benoit. Dude, I think you're just watching WWE.
No. This guy's name is Chris too, actually.
Yeah. Benoit.
No, it's Chris Watt.
Okay.
Actually, I remembered it. It was a Netflix documentary. And
Wasn't that guy Watt the dude with the face tattoos
no, I don't think so. Chris Watt or something like that.
from Florida?
No,
Young dude with he looked like G-Eazy but with a skeleton tattoo.
no,
Do you know who I'm talking about?
no.
Oh,
don't
bro, I got a funny fucking. I'll show
I don't
you
know how
after.
many of these
There was
true
this guy. He was one of those guys that was a murderer,
Right.
and he went viral on TikTok because he was like a hunk.
I know who you're talking about.
Something
By the way.
Watson or Watt
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something
He
like
got
that.
a modeling job afterward, didn't he?
That's
He
cool,
made a
man.
bunch of money after. He got
Wow,
out.
dude,
Yeah,
that's man. The only fucking place in the world.
With
America is so beautiful, dude.
It's
You can go from being an Olympian, a male Olympian, to Woman of the Year.
right.
You can go from fucking mass murder or maybe serial murder or maybe small town murderer
Right.
to model.
To model, if you got the look.
That's so
It's-
cool, man.
Bro, it's the marketplace.
I fucking love it.
America's a giant marketplace.
Dude, I love it.
And if you can bring value, you'll get that in exchange.
Dude, isn't that cool, man?
Yes, I sense the sarcasm in this one.
No, that actually is cool.
What?
That is just, you can literally do anything.
Not anything.
You can literally kill people and then become a model.
Did that guy actually commit a murder?
Oh, yeah.
Really? Okay, you gotta show me that.
I'm going to look him up, but tell your story about the true crime and then we'll wrap this up after.
Oh yeah, I was just saying that dude this guy had an affair going on And I think when you do that, there's some sort of insecurities at play. And he was married, he had 2 kids, but he was just tired of his wife and didn't know how to speak up for himself. And he, in an act of just like pure anger, this guy just kills his wife, takes the 2 daughters on a long trip out into the desert, and throws them all into a huge silo where he worked. And I'm like,
That's not him. This sounds cool though.
what, the story?
The silo, yeah.
Yeah, he dumped him in there, and then he went on TV, claiming that his kids were missing, and he was giving this whole story about like he just wants his family back.
Right.
But one of the reasons why he did all that is because one of his insecurities was about to be exposed. You know what I mean? An identity death was about to come face to face with him. Oh, is this the dude?
Yeah, Wade Wilson.
Yo, this guy looks like the freaking modern day Joker, like real life Joker.
Yeah, dude, this guy got famous after he was TikTok famous.
Oh, this dude.
He was TikTok famous. People loved him, dude.
So is he released now?
I don't know. Let's figure. It was Wilson. That was his last name. Wilson. Wade Wilson.
Yeah, it has to be a guy because
He was a Nazi too, I think. I think he has like some stuff in there. But anyways, keep it going.
Yeah, that's pretty much about that story. Kind of drives home the point, I think.
What was the point? That white people are fucked, or criminals, or
No, I don't think it's just white people that are criminals. But although they were, this guy was. You can face tattoos, man. Would you ever get a face tattoo?
would I get a face tattoo?
Yeah.
No.
Why not?
I don't know.
When people see me doing this arm, folks,
It would have to be a compelling reason to get a
Unique
face
shoulders.
tattoo.
Right.
Typically, when I see a face tattoo on somebody, and I'm not trying to judge any, because I have friends that have some face tattoos,
Mike Tyson?
but I mean, no. But I mean, typically, when I see somebody with a face tattoo, you just, there's people that are so cool that can pull it off.
Right.
Where you're like, oh, yeah, I'd still let
Like
you.
this guy.
Who? Yeah. But it's kind of like most times when you see people with face tattoos, you're like, I probably wouldn't let you watch my children or give me financial advice. Or,
Right.
You know,
Yes.
Like it's kind of just like one of those types of things where
It's questionable.
it's not
like-
helping you make friends.
Right. It does. It's
It's
not
n-
to judge, but like it's
I'm
it
not
doesn't
trying
help.
to say like there's people out there that are beautiful human beings that are just fucking great and they have face tattoos,
Yeah.
but you don't make yourself look like that.
100%.
That's how and
Yeah,
so
yeah.
personally, I like kind of like I'm not against tattoos, obviously.
Clearly, show that you're.
Yeah, like I
Sure.
have the full sleeve. I have
Let's
tattoos.
see it.
Well, but like the thing is, I like. I'll post some shirtless selfies after this.
Yes.
But I kind of not that I like to be able to hide it. I just it's kind of I don't know how to say. It's kind of like having a mullet. It's hard to turn off. You know, you can't really turn off a face tattoo if you wanted to.
I got you.
It's
Yeah,
kind of,
yeah.
you know, you're
100%.
kind of like, it's like if you were to have a,
It's right there.
yeah,
Like it's the one place where where you're supposed to look all the time.
yeah.
No,
So it's
100%.
got to be a pretty cool reason to have one, or maybe just a really cool tattoo, I guess. But
I see. So
They
you're
w-
open to the idea, though.
I wouldn't, I don't like to say never.
You're right. Same.
I don't like to say never.
Same, but that's one where I can tell you I would never get a face tattoo.
No.
Ever. Unless like aliens took over and
What about hand tattoos?
I think if I were to get a tattoo, it would be in a place where it's not easily accessible or easily seen.
Right.
Like it'd be somewhere where, a very exclusive person could see it.
Right. You don't want a lot of people know about the swastika you have on your ass. And on that note, I think that's a beautiful place to wrap this up.
Right. We'll finish up there. That was
Yeah.
that was a joke, folks. I don't actually have a swastika on my ass.
Wink, wink. That's another wink for those of you that are watching or that are just listening to this. But
No swastikas.
all right. With that scarf, we know where you stand, brother.
Yes, sir.
On that note,
With
much
my
love.
people.
Peace out. Happy Monday. See you guys next week. Hussain Aziz. Check out the E.Y.G podcast. And are you launching any more of your projects that you're working on right
Yeah,
now?
actually, so about the podcast, there is you're not going to find any new episodes of the podcast for the next little bit
Okay.
because what I found was what I was trying to do, what I am doing with my businesses and stuff is just the ROI on the podcast production was just very, very low
Yeah.
versus the ROI on some of their activities.
Mm-hmm.
It was most people don't know, like, this takes effort, bro.
Yeah.
Like, set up the production, especially if you're a one-man show, and the return on investment for business-wise, leading with a podcast was not a very good decision.
Yeah.
So,
You gotta like podcasting to podcast for
right.
a long time.
And I love it. But I just, it's going to be, my podcast will be back. I just don't know when. It's on a bit of a hiatus.
I gotcha.
Yeah, but this next, but what is coming through? Yes, there's some projects that are coming through. I'm going to be performing. I'm going to do actually my first live performance first week in November.
Wow.
One of my buddies does a vibe series. We're going to be doing it down at the studio. So follow if you want to know how to come down there. If you want to see, follow Chazzy Boo on Instagram, and you'll see links for tickets and whatnot to that show.
Fuck yeah, Chazzy Boo.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Shout out to Chazzy. That guy's got some tattoos. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Does he have face tattoos?
Yes, he does. Cool. One of the coolest dudes you'll ever meet.
He pulls it off well.
Very much so. Actually, with him, I don't even question it. Like, he's got such a good heart.
That's
You
what
know
I'm
what I mean?
saying. There's people out
like-
there where you're like, yeah, I actually like, I trust you watching my kids more than I trust myself. I don't have kids, so that
right.
says a lot.
Actually,
but
yeah, I don't have kids, but Chaz, yes, I would have no problem leaving my kid for like a couple hours.
yeah, hypothetical kids.
Pathetic.
Anyways,
Yeah, anyways.
much
But yeah,
love.
what's going on? Thanks for having me on, bro. It's always a pleasure being here. I have a blast every time.
Thank you, brother. Peace.